goal already. Cousins still running. Gives it to James Hird. Screws it around the box.
Welcome to the replay of Richmond and Essendon from the MCG. It's round 7 action, and it's right here on Fox Footy.
Melbourne has turned on a spanking Saturday afternoon for football, and the Bomber and Tiger fans are filling the stands as they get ready to watch their undermanned teams do battle. Yes, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the MCG. It's round 7 action, Richmond and Essendon. Should be a fantastic game. Both sides go in undermanned and there's changes for both sides. We'll get to them in a moment, but let's get to Steve Silvagni. First of all, welcome Sauce. Very big game for both sides. Richmond have been the surprise packet so far this year.
Well, they have. The game should be a beauty. Both teams would be very keen to get back onto the winners list after losing both their games respectively last week, and a number of injuries today, so we'll really test the depth of both clubs.
Well, the Tigers, of course, without their captain, their ruckman and their staff all forward, but they are the best performing Victorian team. Essendon was second best until the Kangaroos won last night.
Well, that's right. Richmond's form probably been a fraction better than Essendon, who have been inconsistent so far this season.
So the Tigers, Danny Frawley, be pretty proud so far of the way they've battled on.
Oh, I think they fought pretty well last week against Port Adelaide, only probably lost by 4 or 5 goals. Always difficult to win over in Adelaide.
Well, Danny Frawley, as we said, should be pretty happy with how they've gone so far. Here he is with Christi Malthouse.
All right.
Danny, a late change with Ray Hall out, and Jay Schulz is he a bit nervous about making his debut, especially at late notice?
Look, I'm sure he is. What an opportunity. I think we've got 2 first games there today, Jay Schulz and young Winderlich for Essendon. So, look, that's a positive from both clubs. And look, all we told Jay is to get out there. He's a big boy and just throw his weight around if he can. If he can do that, this is a bonus for us.
Wayne Campbell, your captain, obviously not playing, but I noticed him out in the ground before the game. What sort of a role is he to play in preparations?
Oh, look, we've got 5 of our leaders out of the team at the moment. We just talked about it during the week of everyone stepping up to the plate. I think all our leaders off the field have had an important role to play, and we just need 22 guys to step up to the plate in that area today.
Thanks, Danny. Good luck.
Good on you.
Thank you, Christy. Yes, there are the Richmond players. You can see Jay Schulz there at the top of screen, number 25. He's drafted number 12 overall, the Tigers' #1 pick last year. Let's have a look at the lineups. One change on each side. It's an inexperienced forward line for the Tigers.
It is. We see Krakouer and Pettifer down there, but they do have the experience of Cameron, who'll lead.
He's been good, hasn't he, this year up forward? He's helped out.
He'll be their leader up forward today.
Do you think Bowden will play at centre-half forward?
I think he will. He's played there before, and he'll probably do most of the running, most of the leading up in their forward half.
Of course, still no Fletcher in defence for the Bombers. Through the middle, Newman's been really good so far. McVeigh's mainly been in defence, but that one in the middle, Coughlan and Johnson.
Well, it should be a beauty, really. Coughlan's had an outstanding year this year, just keeps improving up against Jason Johnson, who's found a bit of form.
Yeah,
and,
his last 3 weeks have been great, haven't they?
Yes, and of course second in their best and fairest last year.
Well, the Richmond defenders will be under a lot of pressure, obviously. Lucas has had an up and down year. Hurd's playing. There was a doubt.
There was a doubt on him. I believe he'll start up forward, but may push into the midfield.
Now, do you think Gasper will go to Lloyd? Zantuck actually took Lloyd last time, but this is the most likely matchup.
No doubt. Of course, Matty Lloyd playing his 150th game today. Kicked 25 goals so far this season. 16 goals the past 3 weeks. Big job for Gasper today.
Now, Bomber fans would have noticed that there's no Damien Cupido. His shoulder problems, he couldn't get over them, so he's not in the lineup. There's the ruck. Stafford's going to have a big job carrying it on his own today.
Oh, huge effort. He hasn't got Hall, who usually assists him, but up against Hill and also Alessio today. Big job for him.
Billy Nicholls in for his first game for the Tigers. There's the benches as they'll line up. Bannister, number 36, wasn't an emergency, but Essendon won't be fined. They notified the AFL and Richmond yesterday, so they won't be fined. The Essendon team, here they are, coming out onto the ground earlier, led by Matthew Lloyd in game number 150, and James Hird. We mentioned there was a doubt on him, but he's playing, and who knows with Essendon with their form. They were terrible last week, particularly in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I guess if you've got 2 quality players in James Hird and also Matty Lloyd, you know you're a chance, and what a special day for Matthew Lloyd today. 150 games, sensational player.
Well, triumphing over Kevin Sheedy is not a feeling Danny Frawley is familiar with. Have a look at this record, Essendon and Richmond. Frawley's only been involved, I think, in 7 of those. The one win in that time was round 22, the last win, round 22, 2001, and Danny Frawley was coaching that night.
Fantastic record for the Bombers. Really, they've had the wood over the Tigers, and certainly Essendon fans would hope that continues.
Wayne Campbell, of course, went down last week with a calf injury. He's watching on, as Danny Frawley and Christy said. He's become a great leader. They'll certainly miss him this afternoon. Well, as you mentioned, Steve, Matthew Lloyd, what a champion he's been. 150 games he plays this afternoon, 531 goals. I wonder how he's going to go this afternoon. We'll find out in a moment when the Bombers and the Tigers do battle at the G. Well, this is going to be a battle to watch this afternoon. Matthew Lloyd and Darren Gasper kicked 6 on him back in 2001. I wonder how he's going to go this afternoon. It'll certainly be very crucial in the outcome of this game. We're almost ready for a start. We're ready to talk to Michael Christian. Welcome, Chriso.
Yes, thanks, Hutto, and looking forward to today's game, obviously. And after round 6, of course, these two clubs, the best of the Melbourne clubs, so a big game for both of them, particularly the Tigers, who, as we saw, have got a pretty poor record against the Bombers, so a big game for the Tigers.
Well, let's get down to Christi Malthouse, who's on the boundary. Good afternoon, Christi.
Thanks, Anthony. Well, so much for the rain that they were predicting for today and that Richmond were hoping for. Obviously, their rain dance didn't work. We've actually got perfect football conditions at the MCG today. Now, I'm just going to take the chance to say Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers tomorrow. The AFL have a promotion on this weekend. You can see my badge here. I'm a footy mum. Well, I'm not a footy mum, but I have a footy mum.
Hello.
But for all those mothers who attend the football...
From the boundary, an exclusive news.
No, I'm not letting any secrets out, no. All those mothers who attend the football over the weekend, they will receive one of these badges, and they also have the chance to win some great prizes from the AFL.
Congratulations, Christi, from all of us. Well done. Christi Malthouse down on the boundary line. Stephen Silvagni, who are you tipping today? Hard to get a read on the form, obviously, with both sides, so many injuries. There's Bowden pushing forward, I think, with Vardy, who's kicked 4 goals in the last 2 weeks in the VFL.
Probably expecting Bowden to probably start at centre-half forward. I'm going to go for Richmond purely. I thought they were pretty good against Port last week, and their form's been reasonable over the last month.
James Hird going into the middle, I guess that wouldn't be a surprise. I wonder who's going to watch him this afternoon.
I'm pretty sure Kane Johnson will go to James Hird.
Well, Johnson, and there's Hird on the screen, and Jason Johnson's in the middle with Coughlan, number 24. As we talked about in the opening, those two could go head-to-head. Gasper has gone to Lloyd at the other end of the ground as we expected. The game is underway from the MCG. Greg Stafford against David Hill, and it's Kane Johnson who sends the Tigers forward, but not for long. Dean Solomon able to relieve the pressure straight away. Beautiful conditions, as Christi said, and just great to be at the footy. I'm sure the players are enjoying it. The Bombers, of course, on the plane last week after going to Silvagni. They would have come back very disappointed, particularly in the third quarter against Fremantle. They were blown away. They'll be hoping for a bright start this afternoon. Lucas, look at that, in the one hand, like Brennan from Brisbane. Gets it up to 50. Here's Lloyd and his 150th. What a start. Great take, one grab start, quick to try and lay it off. We know all the teams have had their problems going to this end.
Actually lined up about 15 to 20 metres out in front of the goal square, so not playing out of the goal square, Matthew Lloyd. Essendon have got Barnard leading from the goal square.
Well, we've seen Cupido play that role, and Lloyd's enjoyed going further up the ground. In fact, it seems to be a trend right across AFL footy at the moment. The full forwards going up to that, I guess, that Wayne Carey position between full forward and centre-half forward. Let's watch Matthew Lloyd. Lots of Tiger numbers back. Not convinced he went for goal in the end. Hill in the middle of that. Wellman, the wild card from the side. And a behind on the board. And Essendon starts the day with a behind. There's young Chris Newman, who's been very impressive for them in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Last week he tagged Nick Stevens from Port Adelaide. We'll see if he has a job this afternoon.
Tivendale, long kick inside the centre square. Big leap from the back. Over the head of Reynolds. Was quick to get back though. Well played. Solomon tried to thread the handball. Eventually got to Bolton, who chips out wide. Barnard. Paul Barnard, what a great servant he's been to the Essendon Football Club. Back to Bolton. Now a chance to go for drills. The pass in short. Chaffey, the only player there, was intended for Hill, but Chaffey, who plays a roll across halfback very effectively for the Tigers, was able to chip in and take the mark. Cameron. Penetrating kick is a great kick. Now a chance for Bowden. Chance for the Tigers. Going to full forward. Vardy, he's got it. Royce Vardy. Well, he's been a little maligned during his career, Royce Vardy, but the Tiger fans were up as one there. Great kick from Bowden. Plenty of penetration. And Vardy was able to judge it perfectly and should kick the first goal of the match for the Tigers. Royce Vardy, his second game for the year, comes in, pops it through. Tigers on the board. So Richmond Pretty good start, Steve. How Bowden can be left that alone?
Well, what actually happened was that Bolton thought that the lead was, or the ball was going short. Bowden fell off the back of the pack, and Bolton really didn't pay him enough respect. And we all know how Bowden kicks the ball. He put it straight to the top of the square, and Vardy did the rest.
So Royce from Richmond kicks the first goal. Royce Vardy, that is. The Tigers lead by 5 out of the middle. Stafford with the tap. Johnson fights and scraps and wins the ball, but turns it straight over. And Pettifer it was with a clearing kick. Oh, lovely mark, and quickly away. Bolton kicks to centre half forward for the Bombers, hoping for Wellman. Can he run onto it? Good desperation back there from Hilton. Takes it close towards the line. Good running work. Lucas got a hurry kick and got it in accurately too. And this is Winderlich, the new boy wearing Darren Buick's number 8 from Gippsland Power. And I heard him say during the week that he didn't think his form probably yet warranted a spot in the senior team, but such as I guess the expectations of what he will become, that the Bombers are ready to give him a chance with so many players out. So can he join that exclusive club who kicks a goal with his first kick in AFL footy? Didn't look great off the boot. Gasper got the touch to it. Now there's a free kick, and it's a Tiger free kick, and they're going to be quick to take it. Gasper takes the free handball, and the Tigers through Tivendale, and now Bowden are away.
Still inside defensive 50. Joel Bowden just chips towards Coughlan on the wing. Too far for him. Hilton tried to keep it in, then thought better of it as the cavalry arrived. So a boundary throw in. Just the attacking side of the wing for the Bombers. Stafford will be required to do a power of work this afternoon with Hall out of the side. Jason Johnson. They tie it up.
Just looking at a few matchups up in the Richmond forward line. Wellman has gone to Bowden. Solomon has gone to Nicholls, and we have Jacobs on Vardy.
There's James Hurd's opponent, Mark Chaffey, this afternoon.
Roden. Wrapped up by Mercuri going nowhere, so another bounce. Yes, a big job for Mark Chaffey. Loose player inside defensive 50 for the Tigers.
He's going to be conceding height there, isn't he? Chaffey against Hurd, so it'll be an interesting one to watch.
Hill, just stolen by Johnson. Drills the pass in low. Nicholls couldn't take it. Recovers well at ground level. Or handball, just hoping more than anything. Peverill, Mercuri, and now the Bombers away. Reynolds kicks towards half forward. Hurd and Chaffey. Who will win on the ground? James Hurd just taps to his own advantage. Good pressure coming from Chaffey. Winderlich can't control it. Some experience there from Pettifer. Hasn't been in the game long, but he did it well. Zantuck wide. Nicholls. Solomon bearing down. He's wrapped up, and will he be penalised? No. Umpire McInerney gave him the benefit of the doubt, much to the frustration of Dean Solomon on the southern wing.
So just the one opening goal, and almost all the players on that outer side of the ground. You can see why. The ball up pretty close to the line. Jason Johnson just worked himself back into form in the last 3 weeks after starting slowly. Hurd, CD over the top. Kane Johnson, and another bounce. What do you think so far, Steve?
Oh, well, I guess they're just sorting each other out. Just looking at some matchups up in the Essendon forward line. Kellaway has gone to Lucas. Of course, Gasper has gone to Lloyd. But the interesting one is whether Hurd will stay on ball or whether he'll push to the goal square, because the height advantage that he has over his opponent is quite decisive.
Here's Tivendale weaving his way through. Delivery poor for Krakouer. McVeigh, who's been getting the jobs on the dangerous forwards each week so far for the Dons. Hurd again involved. He's had plenty of touches early. Mercuri eventually overwhelmed by numbers. No free kick, doesn't matter. Tigers going forward. Here's Vardy again. Bowden pushing and shoving in the square. He's got away from Wellman, and he just can't take it. Wellman worries him out of it in the end. Well played, Sean Wellman. This is what he does well. Runs and gives. Peverill onto the wing. Guides it nicely. Winderlich will be happy. He's had a couple of touches early, which is nice in your first game. Out wide for Lloyd. Again, a long way up the ground. Hurt's pushed back now, as you mentioned, Sauce. Here's his lead. Chaffey did well. Good start for Chaffey, even though Hurt's had plenty of it. Hasn't done any damage yet. Coughlan kicks to half back. That's one that Bowden would dearly love to have taken. And we're going to get a bounce.
Good play from Wellman at half-back. Just was able to keep his feet. Bowden went to ground, and that was the difference. So important just to keep your feet. Bounce on the wing. Tigers with the only goal of the match. Bombers have a behind. Hill searching, knock towards Barnard, who did very well, kept it in. But Kellaway with the fist. Scott Lucas this afternoon lining up at centre-half forward. He spent a fair bit of time in defence.
How important is it for the defenders early to get a couple of good spoils in like that, Steve?
Oh, no doubt that should be their #1 priority. I always felt that the first 3 or 4 contests, if you could be with them early, hit the ball away and actually make some physical contact, they tend to fall away later on in the quarter.
McPhee got up high over the top. Got it down to Barnard, but good tackle coming from Zantuck.
Hurd has pushed to the goal square. Of course, he's on Chaffey.
From the bounce, Winderlich in there, playing his first game for the Bombers. And there's James Hurd and Mark Chaffey.
We have Mercuri just standing about 5 or 10 metres in front. Probably the idea there would be to probably push out a bit further, just give Hurd all the space in the world.
Stafford decisively. Boundary line's too close. So a boundary throw in. There's Newman and Mercuri standing about 10 metres in front of the goal square, in front of Chaffey and Hurd.
Lloyd and Gasper. Lloyd is actually standing at centre-half forward.
Lucas this time, his turn to go over the top. Drags it down. Coughlan on the base of the pack, and another bounce. So a bit scrambly at the moment.
Yeah, strange old game so far. Nothing much has happened. The crowd, apart from that bloke, is very quiet.
There's a bit of an anticipation rather than much action going on.
The train chuffs past behind the goals that the Bombers are going to, right of screen. And not much else action now. The throw, the umpire got bored as well. He's picked out a free. It's going to Roden against Mark Johnson. Now, I think there could be an injury. James Hurd is struggling inside the 50. This is terrible news for the Bombers. We know that he was in doubt coming in. We'll get to that in a moment because play goes on. Good crunching work from Jason Johnson again. Billy Nicholls couldn't keep it in. And we're going to get a throw in. Here he is, James Hurd. Saucy spotted it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He just probably the reason why he went to the goal square. Unsure what actually happened to Hurd. It might be a calf.
Looks that way, doesn't it? That's going to be very telling. If he can't come back on the ground, Alessio just on the ground might get into the action straight away. Gasper buried Lloyd. He's going to take the free. It's pretty clear inside the 50 if he gets it in quickly. He does that. Peterfer from behind to try and spoil Winderlich. Chaffey. They're out an opponent at the moment. Well, I guess Alessio by definition is his opponent. Now that would be a mismatch in height. We'll obviously get down to Christi with some news as soon as we can. Chaffey relieved. And from all the ways than one at the moment with Hurd sitting on the bench. As Stafford kicks for Gasper. And the Tigers can move. Bowden runs hard. Solomon. Oh, well done. Wins out. Gets it into half forward. Lucas in front this time. Couldn't get a spoil on Kellaway. So Lucas waits. Tigers got lots of numbers back. Stafford is the extra man in front. So Barnard has to lead hard to the line. Tight. Zantuck with the new blonde hair. And the ball is over and out. Let's get to Christi on the boundary.
It doesn't look at all good for James Hurd. They're currently strapping his calf very tightly. He came off, he pointed straight to it and said that he was corked, and he's in a bit of pain now, and they're just attending to him as we speak.
It's amazing, isn't it, with James Hurd? His run of injuries is just extraordinary, and every time he finds some form, like he did a couple of weeks ago, he gets hit by injury again.
It's always, I guess, a concern, but as a player, you just like getting the first half a dozen games under your belt without any injury at the start of each season. If you can do that, you tend to get through the season.
Chaffey got the handball from Johnson. Solomon up high, couldn't complete the mark. Players dive on top of the football. Umpire James eventually calls for it.
Sheedy actually, I believe, made a move that he's taken Wellman off Bowden and put Solomon onto him.
Bounce. Jacobs this time. Gets it down. Kane Johnson going nowhere. Interesting matchup in the goal square for the Tigers. Nicholls playing at full forward opposed to Wellman. Bounce on the southern wing. Vardy up high. Tivendale had to stand his ground and earns a free kick. He was pretty quiet last week, Greg Tivendale. Just the 7 possessions. against Port Adelaide. Thumping kick inside, attacking 50, going back Wellman. Almost. Just escaped the tackle. McVeigh kicks back to a big pack. Jacobs. Bombers out of trouble. Now they can set something up here. McPhee. The run provided by Bolton. Drives it low and hard towards Lloyd. Stafford dropping back across half-back. Plenty of time. Kellaway. And he uses Chaffey out wide.
Game being played on Danny Frawley's terms at the moment. They're getting lots of numbers back to Tigers and then thrusting forward into space. Gasper takes it. He's got an option at half forward. It's a good option too. This man knows how to find the middle. And he goes straight there. Leon Cameron misses. First blemish for the year for Leon Cameron. That 9 goals straight until then.
Yeah, usually puts those ones through, but good play by Gasper. He started running down the ground. Didn't wait after he took that mark. He got the ball on quickly, and which gave the Richmond forwards every chance to find some space.
Jacobs at fullback, looking for Hill at the back. Almost Bolton couldn't quite hold on, and a free kick to Richmond out of that. Come back to Tivendale. He wastes no time. Thumps it back to the top of the goal square. Contest Nicholls. Fist from Jacobs. Bombers with the numbers. Seedy knocks it to the line. Boundary throw-in.
Just one thing that seems to be happening with the Richmond team play. They are getting the ball on very quickly into their forward half. They haven't got too many tall forwards down there, so the direction is get it in there quick to space.
Jacobs, the rucking and the roving and the releasing to McPhee. Wanted to go around the corner, didn't have an immediate option. Goes for Hill, he'll be tested here. Made the contest, but Tigers have got more numbers at ground level and they can win it through the middle and go forward. Good handball from Zantuck in the space for Kellaway, who found a way through. Gets it to full forward. Bodywork done by Nicholls. And a bad bounce. Resulted in it behind. But the points with the Tigers at the moment, both on the board, they've got 8 of them, 1-2 to 1 point. And also, just in terms of the way the game's being played, Steve.
Yes, and some good signs by the Tigers, both Kellaway and Gasper, providing some running, driving and pulling their forwards away from the danger zone.
Jacobs long, Bolton the target, doesn't let him down. Good strong mark in front. Been prominent early. Hands off to Solomon, who drills it in short. Barnard, now some overlap from Peverill. Sweeping handball, Jason Johnson within kicking range from 50. It's close. Is it coming back? No, just missed. But it's probably Essendon's best piece of play this afternoon. Good linking and running from half-back, but it only resulted in just the behind. Margin back to 6 points.
Yeah, first time they've been able to thrust it forward with any meaning, isn't it? Tigers going short now. Chaffey's got a couple of options across half-back. One of them is Coughlan, who's been quiet so far. His third possession to half-forward. This man hasn't. He's looked dangerous across half-forward, Bowden, and his delivery was excellent. Cracker, who played pretty well last week but didn't have his kicking boot on, goes for a pass this time, and Andrew Kellaway, who played on about 5 or 6 opponents last week, has ended up in the forward line.
Well, that's the second time he's come down to that area, and he's running very hard across the half-back line, or from the half-back line.
And the other one, Gasper, both key defensive players for the Tigers, have really been providing some options through the midfield and even in attack for Richmond.
Well, Andrew Kellaway hasn't scored so far this year. He'd love a goal now. The Tigers look like a team at the moment playing with plenty of spirit and plenty of passion and plenty of accuracy as Kellaway kicks their second. Andrew Kellaway gets on the board for the year, and what a way to do it.
Well, great running by the Tigers. That goal resulted from a kick out at the opposite end. No Essendon player actually touched the ball, and they used the ball very well. And great play by Kellaway, who really did provide the run and to finish off with a goal.
Now that's James Hird. We think we may have found, just look at the top of the screen running across there, he is Hird. We don't see much here, but it was after this that he pulled up sore, so that could be when James Hird did his injury.
Well, the positive from that is it looks as though it's a cork rather than a strain or a pulled muscle, because it looks like
a bad one though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, because Chaffey's knee just went right into it. So James Hird in doubt for the rest of this match. Mercuri now. Bombers need a reply. Somehow spirals it inside attacking 50. Gasper the fist at the full. It's all Richmond. Zantuck and Chaffey draws. Chaffey eventually wins. Kane Johnson. Bowden's free again. They'll have to match up on Bowden, the Bombers. Can be a very dangerous player. Not quite on this occasion. Gives it up, and that's poor play. And will he get it back? He does. Brilliantly played by Cameron. Kick is poor, intended for Vardy. Jacobs scrambles it back towards the wing. Cameron has to come and meet it, and does. Bowden again. Hilton. Now tied up hard against the line, the Tigers. Somehow kick back towards half-back. Mercuri in the way for the Bombers, and he's away.
And they can go through the middle. Barnard, Lloyd's already made his lead. Has to double back, same with Hill. So there was nowhere to go. The Bombers had flooded right back. Thumps it long. Gives Lloyd the chance now. Just couldn't get there. He had 2 to beat. Zantuck's going to help out Gasper all day by the look of it. Roden and the Tigers can release. Chaffey, who's been freed up. He's got Billy Nicholls running for him at half forward. Might even go longer now. He goes to Nicholls. Out wide. Here he is, playing his first game after 6 with Hawthorn.
Chappie's got off to a sensational start. 7 disposals so far.
Gets it in high. It was a poor kick. Fiora waves his arms around and says, where were you kicking that? Because McPhee, who was trying to follow Fiora into the 50, had the ball delivered to him on a plate. That's a dangerous kick. Set Mercuri out. Jason Johnson there to support. She had to be precise with his kick, and he was, to Jacobs. And the Bombers can go again. Harvey running away to the right. The umpire let that go as play on. Mercuri, again, more hope than anything. Winderlich gets it. Winderlich goes in again. And the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt, ball up.
Well, we see Lucas on screen there. If there's a time that we need this fella to stand up, it's probably now that Hurd's off the ground. He is their tall forward. He needs to provide the leadership and option up in the Essendon forward half.
Hill beaten by Vardy. Doing some ruck work. Coughlan was taken high. Play on's the call. Zantuck, Chaffey again. Coming up, possession number 8. Thumping kick towards half forward. Stafford in front, marks. It's going to be a challenge for Jacobs. Stafford was outstanding last week for the Tigers. Wobbles it towards Krakouer. What can Krakouer do? No. Well played by McVeigh. Kept him at arm's length. Delivered well, Reynolds. Pass towards Lucas. Look out. Zantuck did very well. He's got to beat 3, Zantuck. Can he get a handball clear? He could, but wasn't effective. Roden close to the line and eventually over. Zantuck did pretty well there because he had to beat 3. And the boundary throw-in was probably a good result for the Tigers.
And there is Mark Chaffey. Boy, what a start for him. 8 possessions in all, 14 Richmond. Just 2 the Bombers, and they look a shadow of themselves at the moment. Ducking ahead that time, Nicholls. Umpire let it all go on. And he says out of bounds. Mark Johnson and Barnard arguing their case.
You mentioned Chaffey just a minute ago. I think he's picking up Barnard at the moment. He is.
Some Bomber fans finding some voice. 6 free kicks to 1 so far. Wellman with the tap. Nicholls was the free man. Comes back to Tivendale. Mercuri was the spoiler. Tivendale gets a second chance. He might just make something of this. Gets it in long to Stafford. He's in front and he's got it. Yes, he has. That is going to be a major concern for Essendon if they can afford to have him push forward. I don't know who's doing the ruck work, Steve, when
Vardy's got into the ruck.
Right, well, that is going to be a tough one for Danny Jacobs.
Yes, and Stafford took this mark against Jacobs. It would be at least 6'3", and we see Stafford there. He's a huge man. When he gets those arms stretched out in front, very hard to beat.
And he was good last week, and after all that drama with the tribunal, he came out, kicked 2-2. Funny looking kick, but it might just do the job. He's clapping it. Tigers have got 3. Three goals to Richmond, and they now lead by 18 against Essendon.
I think the great thing about the way Richmond are playing at the moment is just the way they have been delivering the ball in long and direct. And there's a great example. Tivendale just kicking it to the top of the goal square. And if Stafford they can keep Stafford up forward and Vardy in the ruck, they'll be hard to beat the Tigers. So the Tigers, with the only 3 goals of the match, have started very well. Alessio now in the centre. Vardy made a contest. Bowden Only as far as Jason Johnson, who overruns it. Now a chance again for the Tigers. Newman inside looking for Stafford. Couldn't quite control the football. Reynolds did well. Just got it far enough for Solomon. Or ineffective handball. Johnson back towards Stafford. He's got to beat McVeigh only. McVeigh did very well. But Krakouer kicks Richmond's fourth. So Andy Krakouer, well, Stafford was able to drop back. McVeigh had a couple to beat, but that was brilliant play.
I'm not too sure whether this was a goal. I believe Krakouer thinks he's missed this goal after he's kicked it.
Yeah.
He looked to be a bit frustrated. Well, it's a goal. That's all that matters. Richmond have 4.
So the Tigers, what a start. Now, this is interesting. Krakouer has a shot, and he thinks he's missed it. The goal umpire didn't, and that's the only thing that counts. He hit the ground with much displeasure, but he's got his first goal. And the Tigers, what a start. The margin 24 already. Solomon thrust into the middle now. The Tigers midfield is right on top. Bowden and Johnson, Chaffee, and Stafford obviously proving a problem when he goes forward.
Well, Johnson has he's cleared the ball at least 3 or 4 times from, as we just see here, pretty tough.
Looked like a goal. I thought that we saw the ball all the way past the post, but who knows. Out of the middle, Solomon trying hard. Jason Johnson dived and got just a handball. McPhee over the top. Harvey just on the ground and just into the ground. Play on. Now Bowden ducked ahead then. Good call from the umpire of play on. Johnson eventually regaining his footing. Mercuri. Oh, no, throw.
Great tackling by Roden. Applied 2 tackles there and has come up with a free kick.
So Roden from half back as the Tigers stream forward. Stafford already pushing up to centre half forward. Alessio choosing to go with him. I wonder if that'll be the instruction from the coach. Royce Vardy playing as sort of ruckman now after the centre bounce. Gee, Kane Johnson hasn't even been prominent so far. Already 7 possessions. What will his 8th bring? No doubt he'll go into Stafford. How's Alessio's defensive skills? Pretty good that time. Small men are all Bombers this time. McVeigh, he was under pressure still. Harvey has to be precise. Wasn't a bad kick. Winderlich, who's had plenty to do early. A little lost there, had to kick quickly. Lloyd and Gasper, the only 2 in that half of the ground. Although Hill is forward of the contest. If they could win that contest one-on-one, then they would have got a certain score.
Great tackle by Zantuck. Needed to apply that tackle, and because Hill was all on his own about 30-40 metres away. Would have been a certain goal.
Desperate stuff from Zantuck. Tigers, what an opening quarter. Great knock from Alessio. Jason Johnson's kick smothered. Zantuck again at the base of the pack. And they really have opened this match very impressively. First goal coming at the 3-minute mark. Took another 14 minutes for the next goal. But they've kicked 3 in the last 8 minutes. Alessio again tries to get it down. Hacked forward by Mercuri. Now a chance in the pocket. Hill. Handball back searching for Harvey. Peverell has been quiet. Where will he go now? Just tries to hack it back and was really ineffective. He's looking for Mercuri there, but in any case, just slewing off the sign of his boot. So a boundary thrown at half forward for the Bombers with quarter time very, very close. Joel Bowden has been outstanding in this first quarter. Boundary throw in. Alessio. Vardy controls it as the quarter time siren sounds. And there's a bit going on after the siren.
Hello.
Let's see a repeat of what we saw. St Kilda Bulldogs.
I reckon they'll be pretty smart here.
Yeah, well, they are. Very smart.
Andrew Demetrio just popped out of his chair up in the stand. Well, what an opening quarter. Richmond have come out with 4 goals to 0. Matthew Lloyd's 150th, turning into a nightmare at the moment. Richmond 4-2, 26. Essendon without their skipper James Hird, just 2 behinds.
Back towards Stafford. He's got to beat McVeigh only. McVeigh did very well, but Krakouer kicks Richmond's 4th.
Yes, that made it 4-0 in the opening quarter. Richmond 4-2-26. And Essendon just 2 behind. Stafford and Krakouer amongst the goal kickers. Chaffee and Bowden the possession winners. Jason Johnson and Barnard for the Bombers. And the Tigers really are running hard. They are full of spirit, full of passion at the moment. And quite frankly, they dominated that opening term and look like they're ready to really hope that that can continue for the day. Well, there's Danny Frawley trying to get things sorted out. As Mark Chaffee, his dominant. He started on James Hird, and then since he's gone off, he's been even more freed up.
He has, and he got off to a fantastic start. Was on a very good player in James Hird, but he provided plenty of rebound from inside Essendon's 50, and his attack on the ball was outstanding, and he really did play some brilliant football in that first quarter.
Yeah, 3 times he took it out of 50. Now, here he is when his opponent was James Hird. This is how we think Hird did the injury. It looks like a calf, caught calf. Very badly caught calf, Michael.
Yes, no, he obviously was in a lot of discomfort, and it just looked as though Chaffee his knee had copped him right in the belly of his calf. So a very bad corky, and it would be certainly, Steve, unlikely that he'd be back for the rest of the game.
Well, he did leave the ground on crutches.
Let's go to the rankings, and you'll notice there's only one Essendon player in that top 10, and that's Joe Mercuri, who hasn't had as much of the ball, only 5 possessions, but he's had 5 tackles.
He has, but that isn't surprising. Richmond have been on top, and they are playing some brilliant football, and their pressure has been outstanding.
Let's get to Christi.
Well, everything you just said about Hird then is correct. He is out for the rest of the game. He's currently in the Essendon rooms having a severely corked calf work on. He made his way across the ground very slowly on crutches. It did happen in that marking contest. He spent that whole first term, or the rest of it, icing the calf, the cork, and Essendon officials say that's it for him for the rest of the game. So not good news for him or Essendon.
Well, the Bombers need a change of fortunes, that's for sure, in this second quarter. Let's see if they can get it. Alessio giving Jason Johnson a chance. He's scrapping for it. Coughlan, he works hard, sharing it with Bowden. And the Tigers, plenty of one-on-one battles ahead. And Mark Johnson,
great grab,
couldn't contain Roden. He looks down the ground. He's got Vardy leading out of the square, but goes shorter. Looks like Fiora popping up, who is a nice left foot kick of the ball, and he showed it again then, with Vardy spotting up to take the mark on a tight angle. I guess one positive for Essendon is they're kicking towards the end. That's been the scoring one so far this year. And we'll see how Royce Vardy goes here negotiating that end of the ground. Kicked a goal early in the game, and it kicked 4 for the last 2 weeks for Richmond's VFL affiliate Coburg. So let's see how he goes here. It wasn't a bad effort, but we've seen so many players miss to that right-hand side from that angle so far this year.
Kevin Sheedy.
What would he be thinking, do you think, at the moment? I mean, what sort of things can he do from a structural point of view, or is it just an effort?
Oh, I think a bit of both. I think he realises that his side needs to up the tempo a bit, but himself and the match committee would be looking at some restructuring.
Stafford took a great mark, but Mark Johnson was able to bring him down. Still the Tigers with a chance. Tivendale, McPhee intercepts. Alessio just scrambles it back towards the wing. Mercuri, who's been quiet, knocks it. Well, it was intended for Bolton, but he follows it up well, Mark Mercuri. Well played. Mark Johnson now away. Oh, sideways handball. Bolton. Now Lucas. Lloyd on the lead has got it in front of Gasper. And Lloyd has got a few touches, but they've all been outside 50, Matthew Lloyd. He's taken 3 marks, coming up for possession number 4. High and long, inside attacking 50, in front Fiora. Barnard the ball. Fiora found it on the ground and gave it to Coughlan, who chips cleverly to Gasper. Now loose player on the wing is Hilton, and he can run. Rory Hilton, now he needs to use it. Great chase from Mark Johnson. Kick towards full forward. Chipping in is Billy Nicholls, playing his first game for the Tigers. And he'll be looking to put in a big performance and consolidate his place in this Richmond side.
Just one thing that's really standing out with this Richmond outfit is that their usage of the ball has been outstanding.
Nicholls, chance now to extend the lead to 31 points. The Bombers still yet to score a goal. Early stages, second term. Nicholls, it's close. I think it's just missed. So the margin out to 26 points in favour of the Tigers.
Of course, Billy Nicholls kicked 3 goals in his debut for Hawthorn. But his career ended and he's reinvented himself. Career at Hawthorn ended, he's reinvented himself as more of a mobile player. Up the ground, Johnson's kick was designed for Peverill.
And it's something that the Richmond team has forced onto the Essendon side. They are forcing Essendon very wide and indirect.
I think the point you made about Lloyd's a good one too, Michael. I mean, it's all very well to be playing centre-half forward, but when you're getting your kicks well off the ground, it's doing as much for the team. So here's Kane Johnson into half forward. Hilton takes the mark. Into the pocket he goes again. Nicholls doesn't get there because Coughlan had to go in and win it. Didn't quite make it. Good tough stuff again. Nicholls was the sandwich between Wellman and Johnson, and we'll see a throw in. What do you think about that, Steve, about Matthew Lloyd and where he's playing? There's the inside 50s. The Bombers just aren't getting it down there.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
We've got to be able to find the next man, though, don't they? And the Tigers are getting lots of numbers back. Here's Kane Johnson. High one in towards full forward. Oh. Cracker almost. McVeigh, they're under siege. And a ball up.
At the moment, Barnard has positioned himself at full forward. Lloyd playing in a conventional centre-half forward position. Mercuri, the other player inside attacking 50 for the Bombers. Perhaps, don't know what the options would be at centre-half forward, Steve, but certainly maybe better suited at full forward. Now a chance for the Tigers. Hilton from 30, off a step, kicks, just misses. Well, they've been wasteful early stages in this second quarter, the Tigers. That's their third behind. And opportunities that, well, they should have almost kicked all three of them. But they have bottled the ball up in their forward half. Jacobs, that's a thumping kick. Stafford needs to punch and didn't. Good mark taken from Bolton. Masiti now. The Bombers a chance here. Peverill. Will he get an accommodating bounce? He does, but that was brilliant by Coughlan. Just put a hand on, smothered the handball. Now a turnover. Bowden needs to use it. He wants an option. And forced to go back, but it's effective. Kellaway, they're still alive, Richmond. Drills a pass. Johnson kicks towards half forward. Tivendale just too far out to score, even for Greg Tivendale. Options now. No one back in the square. Vardy runs in that direction now. At the back, Cameron and Vardy couldn't quite hold on. Cracker scouting and a free kick to the Bombers for too high. And he'll come back to, looks like Solomon, deep in his own defensive zone.
Free kick 7-2 at the moment in favour of Richmond. That's why the crowd were making those noises. This is Jacobs galloping away. Had to wait for an option to be provided. Mark Johnson, they're trying to get the switch happening. Instead, down the middle. Well, rolled the dice there. And Coughlan, who is just a star at the moment in the AFL. His development has been incredible since last year. Since the start of last year. Unfortunately, his kicking not always as good as his ball-getting ability. As you pump a bloke up. Jacobs kicks to the wing to Jason Johnson. Now, Bombers are falling down anywhere from here onwards. Tigers have been able to get numbers back, and so Essendon had to go wide. Bolton, Barnard leading up outside the 50. Lloyd.
This has been their problem, very slow into their forward half.
And 2-on-1s all over the place. Mercuri outnumbered. Roden can take it away, and take it away well. Roden was under pressure, but he kept on going, and he got the ball over the line of the bottom. Bomber and Tiger fans get up and make some noise, trying to support their team.
It is their problem. They're very slow in getting the ball inside their 50. If you look at the Richmond side, every opportunity they get back quickly off their mark and drive the ball in long and direct.
Lloyd's gone back to the goal square now. If Essendon can get it in there quickly, we'll see a one-on-one battle. But quickly, that was not quickly. Lucas into the middle. Things just not falling the Bombers' way at the moment. The bounce of the ball, the run of the green. The rub of the green is with the Tigers, and they're making it happen as well. Hilton onto the wing. Was that a mark? No, it wasn't to Welsh. And McVeigh. And the Tigers are strolling away again. Tivendale, here they go.
Kick deep into the pocket. Chance for Vardy. Great handball inside. Nicholls from 20. Kicks it. Tigers have 5. So Billy Nicholls kicks his first goal for Richmond. And Richmond are absolutely dominating this game. We're 7 minutes into this second quarter, and Essendon just haven't even looked like it. And perhaps, Steve, they could be even further in front.
They could. They've had a number of opportunities this quarter, Richmond, but terrific play by the Richmond side. Nicholls kicking that goal.
Mark Coughlan, 6 disposals in 10 minutes and 10 for the match. He really has been one of the main reasons the Tigers are on top in this game, and they are certainly on top. The margin now out to 33 points. Stafford and Alessio, the 2 ruckmen. There he is again. Coughlan breaking clear, getting the Tigers inside 50, thrusting them forward. Billy Nicholls has proved a handful down there. Great pick-up from Roden. Can't do much with it. Actually, Krakouer it is. Goes in again and wins it. Got it out. Bowden on the wrong side. He threw it across to Kane Johnson. And Johnson kicks a poster. Well, another goal here to Richmond, and the Bombers will be almost cast for the day.
Well, no doubt important now that Richmond do hurt the Bombers on the scoreboard.
Well, they've kicked 1 goal 4 in this second term. They've been wasteful. Now a chance for the Bombers. Solomon in plenty of space on the southern wing. Couple of bounces. Now needs to use it. Lucas inside attacking 50. It's a good kick. And Lucas with a chance, although he is hard up against the boundary line. Although he is a left footer, so on the right side of the ground to aid his left foot kick. And he'll need to kick this almost 50 metres as the Bombers search for their first goal of the afternoon. There's a great look at what confronts Lucas. Drop punt on its way, missing, as you can see, to the near side. So Bombers still without a goal 10 minutes into this second quarter. Tigers, Tivendale, who's been absolutely fantastic today. Kick towards the centre. Alessio drifting across, couldn't hold on. Roden. Clever little kick around the body. Now one-on-one duel, Bowden and Solomon. Solomon in his back. No, Solomon did very well. And Bowden, equal to the task, was able to wrap Solomon up, so a bounce on the southern wing. And there's the interchange bench for the Bombers. Hill and Reynolds. Sorry, Harvey on the bench. From the bounce, Tivendale in the action again. This time can't find the handle, and we'll get a bounce. Umpire James calls for it. Half forward for the Bombers.
Well, this is where the Tigers have been winning around the clearances. 15-8.
There's young Tim Fleming, number 19. We'll see him, and he'll make an impact when he comes on, if he plays like he has been. And that was over the line for another throw-in. 5-6-36 Richmond. 3 behinds Essendon. Have not kicked a goal in a quarter and a half of football. And quite frankly, don't look like it at the moment. The Tigers on top all over the ground. Tivendale wins another clearance. Nicholls versus McPhee. Well played, McPhee.
Well, they're being caned in the clearances, Essendon. 16-8, and they're 1-5 down out of the middle.
Mercuri, again, trying to link up, trying to get some overlap. McVeigh usually uses it pretty well, but boy, he puts his teammate Bolton under the hammer there. Going back is Jason Johnson, will play the tackle on Coughlan. Lucas, he's battling hard across half forward. Bit of holding on there, the umpire said. Biddiscombe tries to just hold things up. And now Lucas too far out to score. I thought he was going to go to Lloyd, but he just kicks into it. A den of Tigers in the middle of the ground.
Richmond got all their numbers back. Too slow to get the ball on quickly. They're not giving their forwards any chance.
Gasper with a relieving mark. It is frustrating watching it, Steve, isn't it, the way they're blasting it in?
Well, as a forward, when that happens, you start losing your timing as well. So it becomes very difficult to time your lead.
This is Welsh. Started on the bench, in fact, spent the whole first quarter on the bench. They created a contest at least at centre-half for the Bombers, but Tigers are there to mop it up and clean again. Kane Johnson has been caning them out of the middle. Through goes Nicholls, left it behind that time. Mark Johnson, awareness needed there from Wellman. Just got the releasing kick. He's got the someone. He can go to Lloyd. He would have to go very short to Lloyd. He wanted a longer option. Alessio's going to come from a long way back, and he got there. Well done, Big Cess. He's taken the mark inside 50, and they wouldn't have had too many of those so far. Now, the fresh legs, the Tigers have barely used their bench so far. Biddiscombe and Rogers, the only two that have come on off the bench, and in recent times to have some minutes. Haven't needed to make a change, I guess, so far. Here's Steve Alessio. Kicked 6 goals, 2 for the year. Boy, he needs to get that right foot working, and he needs to get it working well. And it's all quiet behind the goals, as that behind goes on the board. Essendon, just 4 of them so far, is all they've got to show for more than a quarter and a half of football.
Sevendale at full-back for the Tigers. He's been fantastic in the midfield. 10 possessions. Just chipped short. Newman. In the back pocket. Chris Newman. 20 possessions last week and 5 marks for the Tigers. Their loss to Port Adelaide. Gasper. Now the kick just over the head of the intended target, Bowden. Fighting at ground level, Zantuck. Bowden back into it. They've got to beat 3. The Tigers, they do it. Bowden or handball, more in hope than anything. Hilton had to meet it and did. Well played. Welsh, look out. Zantuck came at him hard. Mercuri hard up against the line. Concedes ground. Bolton, he's in real trouble. Got a handball away just in the nick of time. This Essendon side are under extreme pressure. Coughlan, Biddiscombe, and by contrast, it opens up for the Tigers. Kick to half forward. Hilton has marked. He would have got the free kick in any case. If they can get a goal here, the Tigers, are going to make it extremely difficult. Kick towards the top of the square. It was a poor one. Peveril, could he hold on? No. Handball too fierce for Mark Johnson, although retrieves it eventually. Chance for Vardy from 15 metres. Snap pulls it back too far and behind only. Another opportunity lost by the Tigers.
Well, there'll be a delighted coach in the Richmond box, Danny Frawley. The tackling of the Tigers and the pressure that they're applying to the opposition has been outstanding.
The only thing they haven't done yet is put them away. Solomon had to work for that mark from the kick in, and he didn't take it in the end according to the umpire. Had no perception whatsoever then, Hilton, that Welsh was coming at him, and the Bombers will get away. McPhee trotting out of defence, goes for a bit of a promenade. Boyd, Saturday stroll and then some. Along the wing, Mercuri. Can they get it in and find a target? No, he switches. Wellman streaming out of defence, needs a kind bounce and gets it. Got Barnard inboard, and Scotty Lucas. And Lucas takes the mark. So at least the Bombers getting a couple of marks inside 50.
Yes, and a great kick by Mercuri to put the ball out in front of Wellman, who did run out of defence, and a bit more fluency in the Bombers' play there.
So Scott Lucas, he gets his turn to stand up and try and kick a goal, and he's done it. He's finally done it. It's taken more than a quarter and a half. The Bombers have a goal. So the drought broken by Scott Lucas, and the Bombers within 27 points.
And the mistake there coming from Rory Hilton. Just for some inexplicable reason, he had no presence of who was coming at him. He just didn't see the Essendon player, Welsh, come from the side. And that was enough to cause the turnover and the Bombers' first goal.
And this is where the Bombers are getting smashed out of the middle. They've only had 1 clearance to Richmond's 5.
Margin 27 points. Stafford tries to get it down, and eventually well played by Bowden. Biddiscombe kick towards half forward. Vardy in front. Good fist coming from Jacob. Roden, who's dangerous at ground level. Short option. Krakouer. Kick was just a little bit behind Krakouer. Tried to just slip the handball. Ineffective. Now a chance for the Bombers. Lloyd Krakouer somehow gets it back. Handball out wide. Rogers from 1 step from 45. Across the face. Oh no, it's a mark. No, it's through. Hilton almost just couldn't quite hold on. In fact, I think it just spilled out, which was enough for the goal umpire to signify that it had crossed the line. So a point only to the Tigers. Margin out to 28 points as we look at first gamer for the Tigers, Bill Nicholls.
Bombers going long from their kick-ins, and accurate too. Wellman takes the mark. He's lifted in the last few minutes. They need more. Lucas stood the ground, did that pretty well. Jason Johnson's pushed forward, able to gather and turn on the left foot. Finds McVeigh, who's run all the way from full-back to take the mark. And Mark McVeigh, who's been a defender so far this year, has a big chance to use his lovely left foot skills. So we mentioned that the one thing that they hadn't done was put them away, Richmond, and a goal here, and suddenly Essendon would be within 22 points. McVeigh's kicked 2 goals, 3 for the season. Just across the face a little. Lucas get it. Certainly inside the line he couldn't, and behind takes Essendon to 1-5. I guess in fairness to Essendon, we've talked about Richmond not putting them away, but the Bombers haven't exactly been accurate either.
No, they've certainly missed a couple of chances in the last 10 minutes. Tivendale tries to direct it to Biddiscombe and does it very effectively. 27 points out wide. Zantuck now loose player on the wing.
They're very loose, the Bombers.
Pettifer has some space, right centre wing, wobbles it at best towards half forward as a poor kick, and reading it best was Jacobs. He's got a height advantage on his immediate opponent, Kane Johnson. Squares it up, Alessio draws a player and gets it to McPhee. Fiora provides a chase. McPhee, handball, just a little hand on it by Vardy. Now McVeigh. Now Reynolds from half-back, thumping kick, that's better. Barnard a chance, Zantuck the fist, well played. Biddiscombe attacks it hard.
Oh, well done.
To Zantuck. Oh, Zantuck gives it straight up to Harvey, who chips towards a vacant half-forward line, and Lloyd just drops back and is marked just 25 metres from goal.
How'd you like to be Darren Gaskell when that happens, Steve?
Yes, you wouldn't be happy, but mistakes do occur. But, well, this is where things can turn around. You just need a little bit of luck, keep persisting, and, well, Matthew Lloyd's got a chance to kick his first goal of the game.
Well, let's have a look at this again. There's the handball from Zantuck. Went straight to Harvey. There was no one within 5 metres of Harvey. That is a costly turnover. Matthew Lloyd, he's kicked 25 goals in season 2003. Comes in, drop punt is good. Bombers have their second. Well, the Bombers with the last 2 goals, and all of a sudden the margin back to 21 points after it got out to 34 points.
And really their last 2 goals have come from mistakes. We just see Zantuck, an inaccurate handball, and the previous goal by the Bombers was caused by Hilton, who was indecisive up the other end of the ground. But, well, they're within the range now, the Bombers, kicking the last 2 goals.
So margin reduced here to just 21 points now, after Richmond dominated the greater proportion of proceedings so far. Stafford waited, and Johnson, who had pushed forward, back in the middle and straight away with the clearance. Not effective though. McPhee across centre half back, starting to find the footy. In fact, the Bombers half back line, where they get so much drive, just starting to look a little more settled. Alessio read that pretty well, able to duck under Stafford. He just couldn't get the releasing handball where he wanted. Pettifer, he took it over deliberately, and will be... No, he wasn't, Ping. I'm sorry, I thought it was pretty obvious. But the umpire disagreed, and it does seem that that rule of deliberately taking it over the line has just been put away after all that controversy 3 or 4 weeks ago. Doesn't get much more obvious than that. Bombers are into attack now. Mark Mercuri. Haven't seen much of him today. Well, in fairness, he's coming in for his 8th possession, so he hasn't been the quietest of the Bombers. Takes a good grab there.
It was a great grab.
And Steve, I was just thinking, I mean, it's such a critical part of the game for the Tigers. They've established a good break close to half-time, and they're really just letting the Bombers back into the game.
Well, here's Mark Mercuri, kicked 1 goal, 2 for the season. Started to find some form in the last game, and that continues on with a crucial goal. So Essendon now with the last 3 goals, and the margin back to 15.
And that's what we see from a stoppage. A quick kick, give your forward every chance. That's something the Bombers haven't been doing, getting the quick kick, keeping the ball moving, and Mark Mercuri was able to take that mark in front and kick this goal.
So margin now back to 15 points. Johnson, kick ineffective out of the centre for the Tigers. Tivendale, there's a free kick meantime, it'll come back to the Tigers. Coughlan coming up for possession number 14.
Steve, that'll make it 8-1.
Yes, 8-1. So you'd think if the Bombers start winning their fair share out of the middle, they're in this game. But at the moment, it's Russian roulette for them.
Yeah, so 8-1 out of the middle in favour of Richmond.
Coughlan. Bombers with the last 3 goals of the game. thumping kick inside, attacking 50. Solomon the fist at the full. Roden couldn't handle it. Johnson, Cameron, loose play around right. Biddiscombe in some space from a step from 30. He's kicked it. Tigers kick a valuable goal through Craig Biddiscombe, and that was one they desperately needed.
Yes, great reply by the Tigers. They needed to get a goal on fairly quickly, but once again, winning the ball out of the middle. They have to win their fair share out of the middle, the Bombers. They're putting their back line under severe pressure if they don't win their share out of the middle of the ground.
Richmond's had 8 scoring shots in this quarter. It's been Biddiscombe and Nicholls, the two that have been able to find the middle. And the margin of 21 points is restored at the MCG. Alessio has worked hard for the Bombers. Solomon, they need a break out of the middle, Essendon. Can they get a clearance? Yes, they can. Bannister and Jason Johnson's back in the middle. He waited until he had an option, but it wasn't a very good execution at all. Jacobs goes to ground, and we've got a bounce in the forward pocket. Alessio's had 9 hit-outs in this quarter. Hasn't been helping too much in terms of centre clearances for the Bombers. Here's Lloyd. He's back in the goal square with Gasper while play goes on up ahead. At 40 metres away from Matthew Lloyd, who's playing his 150th game, and so far he's taken 4 marks and kicked 1 goal. And there's the clearances all around the ground. They're also in the Tigers' favour. Who's going to win this one? Well, no one. So Richmond kicked 4 goals to 0 in the opening term on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Melbourne. Sunny, nice mild conditions. And the Bombers have kicked 3 goals to 2 in this quarter. So they've been able to cut the margin from 24 back to 21. Jason Johnson at the bottom of the pack, but he left it behind. And once again, we've got so many numbers around the ball. Trade of modern footy. Look at the Richmond bench. Andrew Packer sitting down with Hudson. Back in the action, Bowden hacks it out of the clearance and gets it across to Mark Johnson. So we've got a throw and 1.5 minutes to go in this round 7 clash between the Tigers and the Bombers. And so far it's been single goal kickers all round. Krakouer, Stafford, Vardy, Biddiscombe, Nicholls and Kellaway for the Tigers, Lucas, Mercuri and Lloyd for the Bombers.
Bannister, McVeigh uses Jason Johnson, who's got time just to steady, try and pinpoint a target, and he gets it to Barnard, who pushed out Zantat but stood firm, and umpire James said it was legal. So Paul Barnard a chance. Now this will bring the Bombers to within 15 points if he could kick it, and halfway through this second term the Tigers led by 34 and perhaps should have led by 8 or 9 goals. They were that dominant, but the Bombers have stuck to their task and can go into half-time just 2.5 goals behind. Paul Barnard from outside 50. Long kick. Has it got the carry on the line? Harvey off his knee. No, it hit the post. It came off his knee or just upper thigh and cannon into the post. So behind only, margin 20 points.
Still a good margin though, isn't it, in a low-scoring game? As the Tigers make a couple of very late interchanges. Stafford and Coughlan coming from the ground very late in the quarter. In fact, it's a blood rule. Jay Schulz comes on to get his first chance. He's going to get all of 39 seconds in the first half. David Roden, number 1 in the rankings. There'll be a few tackles in that. He's had 10 disposals.
Yeah, 3 tackles. He's had 3 tackles and 3 clearances, Roden.
So 35 seconds for the Tigers to try and build on their 20-point lead. I think I've got survival in mind until half-time. Newman linking with Leon Cameron. He's got Pettifer out this side of the ground. Plenty of room to roam in. Hoping for Hilton, but it wasn't a great kick, and Welsh takes the mark. So 15 seconds. Bombers have got to hurry up. Get it in there quickly if they want to score. He doesn't know that. Just bombs for centre half forward. Solomon off the long run. Might just about get there. He did the spoil. Newman and the Tigers will be able to nullify the Bombers here. And that will be the half-time score. Oh, Barnard. There's a touch of the old right line fever, Paul Barnard. Had a swing and a miss there, I think. What a half of football, Steve, from the Tigers.
Well, yes, they certainly outplayed Essendon for at least a quarter and a half. Their pressure was outstanding. They were on top in the clearances, in the middle of the ground and around the ground. But full credit to Essendon. They did fight back. They won that second quarter, and they've put themselves with some type of hope coming in after half-time.
So Matthew Lloyd's managed just one goal. The Bombers without their captain James Hird for the rest of the game. They've regrouped, but can they get back into the game? They trail by 20 at the main break. What a day it is to be at the footy. Saturday afternoon football, particularly if you're a Tiger fan. 6-8 to 3-6 here at half-time. And the Tigers are back on the ground here, so we're looking forward to seeing what is coming up in the second half. And we can go down to Christi Malthouse because there's some very important injury news on both fronts. Christi.
Anthony, there is. Well, we've already seen the major injury of the first half, and that, of course, is Essendon captain James Hird. He is yet to return from the Essendon rooms. He's been in there all of that second term anyway, receiving treatment to a pretty severely corked calf. And don't be surprised if you don't see him next week as well, because he was in quite a bit of pain and in a bad way with that injury. Now, Richmond haven't, they have suffered their first injury. Greg Stafford came off just before the second half and immediately put ice onto his right hip. He's out on the ground now. Don't know whether he's going to make his way to the bench or not just yet. I'm told that it's just a minor corky, but he has been in good touch for them in this first half, so it would be a huge blow to them if he can't play to his full potential in the second half.
Thanks, Christi. It'd be a massive blow in terms of the structure of the team. He's their only ruckman. Righto, boys, who's going to win? Michael, do you think Essendon they're a bit of a chance from 20 points down?
I just think
you just said that you thought they'd win.
Well, I think they
running away.
I think they can win. I think that the Tigers had every possible chance to put the Bombers away, and at midway through that second term, we're playing all over them. But the Bombers have come back, and I thought in the last 10 or 15 minutes showed what they're capable of. And I think that they're a real chance, because Essendon had their chance, Steve, and Richmond had their chance, and they really didn't capitalise on their opportunities.
Well, they did, and I was just saying to you in the in the break, I just thought that Richmond just started to overuse the ball a little bit. A few mistakes started to occur, whether that was Richmond overusing the ball or Essendon applying a bit more pressure and up their tempo a little bit. But we see James Hird on screen here, on crutches. Just doesn't look good for probably James for the next couple of weeks at least.
And the Bombers half-back line just started to get a bit of run and zip. They get so much drive from their half-back line, don't they? And it just started to look better.
Well, it does. And you can get some run from your half-back line when you start winning the ball at the contest. And that's something that Essendon weren't doing early on in the game.
And I think the other thing too was Matthew Lloyd in the early part of the game. In fact, up until midway through that second term, he was used as a centre-half forward. But in the latter part of the second quarter, went to a conventional full forward with Lucas at centre-half forward. And I think that sort of structure just works so much better for the Bombers.
Let's have a look at the rankings, and once again you'll see in the top 10 in the player rankings there's only 2 Bombers there this time. Jason Johnson, who's had 13 possessions, is their leading possession winner, and Danny Jacobs, who's been giving them a bit of run off half-back. The rest of them are all Tigers, and David Roden is an interesting one to be number 1, isn't he?
Oh, he is, but love watching David Roden play. Love the way he plays. He's a guy that works very hard, does tackle, and can kick a goal, and he is an exciting player.
It looks like Bolton lining up in the attacking half of the Bombers.
You think the first goal of this quarter is so important? If Richmond can kick the first one, it really does make it very tough for the Bombers. If the Bombers kick the first one, well, they're well into this game.
So Stafford's out there, he's in the ruck, back against his initial opponent, David Hill. Third quarter underway from the MCG, and it'll be the Tigers again, or will it, out of the middle. Tivendale's handball. Not much happening there for them, though. Coughlan. Bombers close checking so far. Jason Johnson guiding it, hoping for Lloyd more than anything. Barnard came charging through it, left it behind. Pettifer takes it and bangs it onto the wing, and the Tigers can go. Well, they can't go far because Coughlan held up by Jason Johnson. So Mark Coughlan, possession number 16 coming up. Richmond 6-8, Essendon 3-6. Lots of players ahead of him, and he just kicks for the contest. Hilton was late on the scene. Here's Roden, the number 1 ranked player. Oh, again crunched. Bombers being very physical early in this quarter, as they'll have to be, and the ball over and out. And Roden just looked a fraction probably there coming out of that. His right shoulder, he's in a bit of pain, I reckon.
Tigers into attack. Boundary throw in. Stafford and Hill ineffective ruck play. Big pack of players around the football. Umpire McInerney eventually calls for it. Big test for the Tigers this afternoon. Won, of course, just 4 of the last 23 encounters against the Bombers. And they had 34-point break midway through that second term. It's now just 20. And big test for their mental character, just to see whether they actually believe they can get over the Bombers. Coughlan believes. He kicks from 40 and just misses. He's been outstanding, Mark Coughlan, possession number 16.
Yes, and that's his 7th clearance out of a stoppage, and the Bombers just need to tighten up on him.
Jacobs at fullback. Richmond to the zone. Long kick inside the centre square. Hill almost. Oh, no play on's the call. I thought he almost had it. Coughlan again somehow. He, in fact, threw it. Umpire McInerney right on the scene. Chance now for the Bombers. Jason Johnson gets it from McPhee. Kick towards half forward. Reynolds with courage going back. Now he's called to play on because he did. That was Frawley's play. Now a chance for the Bombers. Lloyd. Solomon. A snap from 30. Bounces. Is it still in? No, it went through. Barnard was hoping, tiptoeing to the line to try and drag it back, but behind only to the Bombers.
Gee, Lloyd was wonderful in that passage of play, wasn't he?
He was. He actually held his opponent out for Reynolds to actually mark that ball.
Kane Johnson releases the Tigers onto the wing. Wellman one-on-one against Bowden. He's got Hill in support. Wellman, he may not have known it, but he had lots of support behind him. And all he had to do was get it back, and the Bombers would have been away again.
Just interesting that Joel Reynolds played on after taking that mark, Steve, because he certainly was within range.
He was in range and probably just got a bit excited. When you're within the 50 and you're within range, probably best off to just go back and have a shot.
Chaffee kicks it well and truly into the old Bay 13 area. And they're certainly lapping up today. The sunshine has been magnificent. Beautiful day to be watching footy here. And the game, well, not a stunning game. It's been a very interesting contest. 6-9 the Tigers, 3-7 the Bombers. Low scoring. And the Tigers hanging on to a 20-point lead. Coughlan involved again. Mercuri works his way around Newman. Here's Jordan Bannister, who's, I thought, been unlucky to be dropped a couple of times so far this year. Just hatches that one. And the umpire calls for the bounce just as Jason Johnson was about to make the great escape.
Oh.
There's Alessio sitting down on the bench with young Shane Harvey. Bolton doing the ruck work for the Bombers. Can they start to win some from the clearances? Ineffective handball from Jason Johnson. Tigers again able to thrust it forward. Coughlan, insatiable appetite for the ball, gets it into Vardy. Good spoil from Jacobs. Bombers have got numbers here. What a lightning handball. And McPhee loves to run. Jason Johnson made his disposal and paid the penalty. Didn't take the first option. Tigers going to have to come back. It's a pity for the Tigers because they were off to the races, but the ball's going to come back.
Great tackle by Krakouer.
Goes to Krakouer, who can switch it into the middle. Still the Tigers are loose. Chaffee lost his footing, regains it and looks ahead. Had to go very short. Cameron presented well. Tivendale leading at half forward. Vardy's down there. So Stafford hasn't been able to push forward just yet. Hilton, well, I'm not sure who the target was. Mark Mercuri may have been put back across half back. Certainly he's got a few important touches here early, and I don't think that's a bad move. We know how well he uses the ball. Peverill linking up with Bolton, and the Bombers can run again. Bannister pushing up to the wing. He goes shorter for Wellman, who just gets it in time.
Wellman now loose player inside the centre square. Welsh, good little give. Jason Johnson, shocking kick towards half forward. Chance for the Tigers. Kellaway had his head ripped off, so he'll get the free kick.
It seems like Coughlan and Jason Johnson are playing on each other, and they're just both racking up numerous possessions for their team.
Well, one player that hasn't racked up possessions this afternoon has been Joe Mercuri, just the 6. Certainly well below his average. Kellaway, wobbly old kick, got to Hilton just.
Oh, yes.
Well, he did well enough just to convince the umpire. Chips short.
Just a good early sign by the Bombers here. Poor play there. I was just going to say that the Bombers are holding the Tigers up. They are slowing them down, but on that occasion, Mark Mercuri was just a little bit over-eager in trying to hold.
I tell you what, that's a fair 50 metres too. I reckon that is about 65 metres, because that was the attacking side of the wing for the Bombers. And now he's been dragged back to just 45 metres from goal. Chris Newman. Chance now just to give some breathing space for the Tigers from 50. It's a thumping kick. It's across the face, so just to behind. And it must be frustrating for players. There was no question there was a 50-metre penalty there against Mercuri, but you see it happen a lot where players just edge over the mark. But, gee, yeah, that was an accentuated case. Mercuri anguished as he realises the mistake he's made.
Jordan Bannister, this is, who was a late inclusion for the Bombers this afternoon. Damien Cupido's shoulder didn't come up. Jason Johnson and McPhee, the targets across half-back. McPhee accepts it. He had McVeigh pushing for him, and he goes to a one-on-one. Barnard, was he shoved in the back? He did well because he got his body in front. And in the end, his Tiger opponent, Zantuck, just stumbled into his back. He's got a short still on. McVeigh, now he's got some space to run in. McVeigh can go. Mark Johnson's led into the square, but he went very short. Probably wasn't a great option as it turned out. That's where all the Tiger numbers are. Bowden can wield his way out. Wasn't a great kick. Barnard did well, but the Tigers, they keep it alive here. They have got numbers to burn. Plenty of options for Zantuck away to the left. He waited and chose the wrong one. Further afield. This is Welsh, and I reckon he's turned into a terrific half-back flanker for the Bombers this year. Released through the middle last week. Wellman. Oh, McPhee. He was totally blindsided then.
I'll tell you what, I don't reckon he had much chance to get rid of that ball. If he had prior opportunity, I don't know where it was.
Well, he took a few steps, and as you said, he didn't know it was coming. Cracker! It's a mark. It's paid a mark to Andrew Cracker. Now, this is a big kick coming up for the Tigers. Last week, Andrew Cracker was dynamic, but he kicked 2 goals 3 and missed some real gettable shots. So that's a fantastic mark in amongst two taller Bomber players. He's played 2 games this year and kicked 4 goals 3 going into today. Kicked 1 goal for the afternoon. We weren't sure whether that was actually a goal or not, but there's no doubt about that one. Tigers get the first of the half. And it's out to 27.
Yes, and an important goal for the Tigers. They getting the first one of this third quarter would, I guess, keep their confidence up. But well done by this youngster. He's worked very hard today. He's been tackling, harassing, and he's got his just deserves by kicking the first goal in this third quarter. Great mark in front.
Andy Cracker with 2, and the Tigers the all-important first goal of the third term. Hill, Jason Johnson just scrambles towards half-forward. It's all he could do. Pettifer playing in the back half this afternoon. Kane Pettifer's been useful. Fleming picks it up off his bootlaces. Play on's the call. Welsh drags him down. Now Lucas a chance. So a loose player forward of the pack was Mercuri. Decides to kick towards Barnard, who knocks it on. Gasper and Lloyd. Numbers with the Tigers. Bowden was pushed in the back. And advantage called. The Zantuck gets it out to Pettifer at right half back. Chance here for the Tigers. They've got loose players in the midfield. Kane Johnson's one of them. And he's been called to play on him. 10 on handballing. Now to Fleming, who runs the full measure. Kick inside, attacking 50. Peverill and Cracker. Cracker almost couldn't hold on. He'll get a free kick. He'll get a free kick. Andy Cracker against Damien Peverill. And I'd like to have a look at that again. He was certainly over the top of him. How much interference, I'm not sure. As a Tiger player takes 5.
Free kicks are 13-5 now. Look at Barnesy in amongst there, giving the instructions to the man on the mark.
Well, let's have a look at this. Oh, there's a free kick there. Peverill right into his back. So Cracker now a chance to kick his 2nd goal in a minute. His 3rd for the match. And really make it extremely difficult for the Bombers to get back. Comes in, kicks, he's missed. Just. So
Bomber fans frustrated at the moment. They've had fair few free kicks go against them in the last couple of weeks, and I think the trend's continuing today. Well, that's not going to help their move, because that's a great mark by Biddiscombe, completely unattended. He switches. Not sure that was a great decision, but it might turn out okay. Tivendale's a big kick. He could go back to Biddiscombe, but he decides not to. He might now. He will, because no one paid Biddiscombe any respect at all.
How could you not man up in a situation like that? That's just far too loose.
Well, Craig Biddiscombe, the former Cat, has kicked a goal already today, and a goal here would once again take the margin out beyond 30 points, and it's hard to see the Bombers getting back the way they're going. It's a good contact. Great strike. Craig Biddiscombe with authority puts through another one. Boy, was that clean off the boot. And the Tigers have kicked the only 2 goals. In fact, they've had 15 points to 1 in this third quarter. 2 goals, 3 to 1 point.
Well, 34-point lead equals the biggest margin of the day, but just slack manning up by the Bombers. They worked hard in that late in the second quarter to get back into this game, but slack manning up by the Bombers.
So the Bombers out to a lead of 34 points, equal to the biggest they've had in the match. McVeigh in the centre now for the Bombers. Big pack of players. So Kevin Sheedy really needs to pull a few rabbits out of the hat now. They fought back hard, the Bombers, deep into the second term, and I just thought they were gaining the momentum. But the Tigers after half-time have been absolutely fantastic. Stafford, McPhee, kicked forward by Hill, bouncing football. Gee, numbers again with the Tigers. Chaffee chips out wide. Biddiscombe, who's been prominent in this third term, coming up for possession, number 8. He's kicked a couple of goals. Started on the interchange bench, but certainly worked his way into it. Another thumping kick, this time inside attacking 50. Oh, big leap up in front. Hilton not paid the mark. McPhee just lost the handle. Coughlan was desperate. McPhee in on top of him, and will there be a free kick? No. Bounce 40 metres from the Richmond goal.
Well, the Tigers just putting pressure on the Bombers' defence, getting the ball in there quickly, holding the ball inside their 50.
Stafford gets it down. Wellman, who somehow got it to Mercuri. McVeigh just floats it towards Lucas. Kellaway was taken high, and he'll get a free kick. Just slipped down in the tackle, which he so often does, Andrew Kellaway, and is the recipient of the free kick.
So 7-4 inside 50s for the quarter. It'll be 8-4 in a moment, because Stafford's got away from Hill. He's going to go long into the square. He spotted Joel Bowden. He spotted him from a long way off. He's at the back, and he's going to, oh, not quite kick a goal. He was just lurking at the back there. Wayne Campbell in with Danny Frawley and co this afternoon. It's a huge injury list for the Tigers. Mind you, a fair one for the Bombers as well. They lost Cupido before the game, and Essendon work it up to Jason Johnson across half-back. Once again, they've been breaking down from about here onwards. That's, again, a strange decision. Kick to the contest instead of the short one. And McVeigh all wrapped up in Tiger jumpers. Ball up. The Bombers have just got no system at the moment.
Well, no, they haven't, and may be a time that might be the time of game that maybe Wellman might have to go to centre half forward. They're just breaking down across their half forward line. Bounce.
Jason Johnson has tried hard. Coughlan, who's been fantastic, gives it straight up to Johnson, but the boundary line is too close. So 35 points the margin in favour of the Tigers, the biggest lead of the match. They're playing extremely well. Vardy, who's done a great job supporting Stafford. Kane Johnson, Krakouer and Reynolds. Krakouer works his way somehow to the front. Can he get around the oncoming Welsh? No. Yes. Will he get a free kick? No. Yes. Free kick to Andrew Krakouer. Well, you've got to say he's attacking the football, putting himself into a position where he's going to earn free kicks, and he's done it again. And as we'll watch it again, he worked very well, got in front of Reynolds just there, Little fumble. Welsh. And eventually, yes,
he
Reynolds.
threw his body down beautifully. That's a clever,
he milked it.
Clever forward tactic. 16 free kicks to 5.
He's kicked 2. Chance for goal number 3. And a chance to extend the margin. Kick is curling back. He's kicked it. Tigers by 41. Andy Krakouer has kicked his second goal of the quarter, third of the match. And the Tigers have a 41-point break. And, gee, it's hard to see the Bombers coming back from there.
Well, I think the beauty of the way Krakouer's played today is that he's really worked for his goals. Here we just see him really on a one-on-one, two-on-two contest, persisted at the ball and got his desired result, enabling getting a free kick.
What a slaughter at the MCG. 41 points the margin. Richmond 9-12, overcoming history. They've got a terrible recent record against the Bombers, who are stagnant at 3-7. They've kicked 1 behind for this quarter so far. They've got a chance here through Harvey, blazing away. Lloyd, it's been an inglorious game for him in game number 150. Hasn't been all his fault, though. Ball just hasn't been there for him a lot of the time. And then it has, it's come in a haphazard manner. They have kicked 3 behinds to that end of the ground, Essendon, so far, in a quarter and a half, or more than a quarter and a half. Only managed 2 behinds for the whole first quarter. Richmond have kicked 7 to the other end. Bowden couldn't take that one away. Wellman will, weaving through. Again, just hit and hope stuff for the Bombers. Lucas provided a target. This is Bannister. Tigers doing not just the easy things, but the hard things as well. Bannister gives Lucas a second chance. Hurried was the kick. Harvey underneath. Swarming around, though, Tigers. Extra body strength, the Tigers, against a lot of these young Bombers. That was Pettifer that time. Through the middle, he went for Cameron. It's gone longer. Well, Bannister got a tough bounce. Through the centre, finding a path was Fleming. Got the handball onto the wing. David Hill versus Kellaway. Hill goes to ground. Stafford, important handball. They're winning all the 50-50s at the moment. Cameron doubling back. Gives it to Chappie. They bomb it in again with a run-up Coughlan. Good spoil that time from McPhee. Gives it to Jacobs, and now out to the wing. Harvey, you've got to go. A fumble first time. Spots Bolton around the corner, but doesn't get it to him. Chappie left it behind, but now he gets it off to Kellaway. His kick was run down. Bombers needed a bounce in their favour. Delivery for Lloyd was okay. Lloyd takes the mark. He's too far out to score. He's got to get up. He's got Bombers pushing forward. He's got teammates. He wants to get away. He can't get away. Richmond have got numbers back now.
That was a great mark by Lloyd. Very, very strong, and but Jasper also did well to hold him up.
Well, you'd think this is mission impossible, wouldn't you? To that end of the ground. Players have found it extremely difficult to kick goals from outside 50 so far this year. I guess if anyone could do it, it's this man, Matthew Lloyd. Once again, he doesn't try. Solomon at the back. No one getting in the road of Stafford. And he was able to get the releasing handball away. Johnson kicks it to the wing. And they're away through Rogers.
Rogers kicked towards the wing. Fleming almost made a contest. Krakouer again putting himself at the base of the pack. And eventually a bounce. Danny Frawley would be extremely pleased with the way proceedings have gone this afternoon. Vardy and Jacobs. Jacobs, deft little touchdown to Barnard. Tried to break a couple of tackles. Probably should have got booted the ball more quickly. Tivendale spirals it towards half forward. The boundary line is close, and eventually the ball goes over. So another inside 50 for the Tigers.
What a big win this will be for Richmond if it happens, Steve. I mean, 5 wins that'll be for the year. We know something around 11 or 12 will come close to getting you in, and they've got all their good players to come back in.
Well, that'll be the big thing. If they do win, they've still got a number of their key players to come back.
Krakouer takes it off hands, delivers. Rogers almost. Pressure coming from Jason Johnson. Needs to get it clear. He'll get a free kick because he put his body in. So the Krakouer kick just missed the target. Would have been another certain goal. Kick towards the wing. Bolton, he's away. They need to get it moving quickly, the Bombers, and they do. He does. Kick towards half forward. Lucas at the back, can't control it. Solomon lending a hand, tried to knock it back towards Mercuri, but Newman was equal to the task and forces a boundary throw in.
Newman. Coughlan
couldn't resist it.
And the Johnsons both getting plenty of it, one for either team. 41 points the margin. 3 goals for to 1 behind in this quarter for the Tigers. Been great stuff. We'll warm a few Tiger hearts this effort. So many star players out. Wayne Campbell, Matthew Richardson, Brad Altons, Duncan Kellaway and Justin Blumfield amongst some of the names. And Andrew Krakouer's gone to the top of the rankings, and that'll warm a few Tiger hearts. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 in a low-scoring game, and has really, as you said before, Michael, put his body on the line all afternoon. And they're a dangerous little team with their small men going forward. Now, free kick here going to Harvey. Lloyd makes his lead, but it falls well short. Again, it was Coughlan. It was touched off the boot. This is Roden. He loves to run and bounce and kick it out wide. Wasn't a good kick that time. Reynolds hesitated initially, then gets it in there quick. Solomon flies. So Dean Solomon, defender turned forward now, needs to try and be accurate to give the Bombers some hope. They need at least 2 and maybe 3 in the last 4.5 minutes.
Yes, well, I think you're spot on there, Hutto. They need to make sure they kick this goal if they've got any hope of winning this game.
Well, Dean Solomon's kicked 5 goals, 4 for the year, and he started to find some touch. In fact, he found touch pretty quickly once the home and away season got underway. This is a huge kick for the Bombers, though, and he's made no mistake. He's swindled it through there first to that end. The construction men have not been too busy at that end of the ground today.
Well, they haven't, but, well, Dean Solomon, as you said, started the game in defence and now up forward. You'd think probably Dean, along with Lloyd, would be their only hope in trying to ignite the Bombers' forward line. And we see Solomon here kick his first goal of the game.
Solomon kicking just the 3rd goal to the City end. There's been 10 kicked to the Punt Road end. So maybe a chance for the Bombers in the final term, but they need a couple here to get within touch. Winderlich can't control it, and a bounce.
Well, this is it, isn't it? This is the moment for Essendon with 4 minutes remaining and the margin at 35 points. So we watch Lee and Cameron sitting down for the Tigers. They need to get a centre break here, which they haven't been able to do. Get it down there and try and get another goal or 2 before 3/4 time.
Alessio tries to get it down. Wellman shovels it out the back. Biddiscombe, who's been fantastic, just scrambles it to half forward, gives his forwards a chance. Cracker, deft skill, snaps from 40, bouncing, goal, sensational stuff. Andy Cracker. Well, if that doesn't inspire you, nothing will. And the Tigers have met every challenge the Bombers have thrown at them this afternoon, and that was a piece of magic.
Well, he's had a sensational 3rd quarter. He's kicked the last 3 out of the 5 goals of this game, and once again the Tigers get a clearance out of the middle, and who's there? Cracker, electrifying. This is fantastic skill.
He was really quick there, wasn't he?
He is very quick.
That is the quickest I've ever seen anyone move.
What a super goal, though.
Who's going to be on him when he can run like that? Now, he's been a project player for them, hasn't he, Andrew Cracker? And boy, he's starting to return some dividends now. Alessio out of the middle. The Bombers just have to respond straight away. The Tigers, though, off half-back. A paddle for Coughlan, and he's away to half-forward. Hilton versus Bannister. 10-12 Richmond, 4-7 Essendon. Their return for almost 3/4 of football. Short for Johnson. He hasn't stopped trying. Possession number 20. Goes long to half forward. Once again, there's more Tigers there than Bombers, but Lucas in the middle of that takes a contested mark. Solomon breaks and makes a lead to 50. Made a good lead. Lloyd's back in the square ready. Trying to make a lead. He got a block for him. He goes for Mark Johnson, and that's okay. So Mark Johnson to have a shot for goal. Lloyd trying to works something out. There's some blocks and pushes going on back in the square. Johnson gives it everything he's got. Not a noted goal kicker. Vardy over the top with a clean punch. And this man, Zantuck, has been good today, haven't they all? Richmond can run. Pettifer's got Kane Johnson pushing to the wing. Gets the bounce and gets the handball away. Pettifer's played one of his best games for the Tigers this afternoon. Delivery not too flash that time. Jacobs able to steady down and bring Bolton into the play. He wanted to find Pepperell through the middle. Instead, he links up with Welsh, who's got Wellman well forward of the play. Now, Wellman will look up and see Pepperell flying past. Lloyd makes his lead. He goes wider again to Mark Johnson. And we'll do it all again. That was a swing and a miss there. Mark Johnson, we saw that last one was beyond him. McVeigh didn't really have the momentum up. Tough ask. Solomon crunching the pack. And Chaffee sees it over and out. And the Tigers have been fantastic.
They have, and the Bombers just struggling to find a tall forward in their forward line. Lloyd hasn't been able to take his marks. Gasper's done a terrific job on him. And with Hurd coming off the ground, well, they've struggled to find that other key forward. Lucas, well, he's been quiet.
Alessio has a crack and misses and gets it behind. And the Bombers' miserable tally of 4 goals, 7 becomes 4 goals, 8. 72 plays, 32, a quarter to go. And as you mentioned, Michael, 10 goals, or in fact 11 goals to 3 as far as the ends of the ground are concerned. So that's Essendon's only hope.
Tigers bring it out. Vardy, Biddiscombe, who's been fantastic in this third term. Craig Biddiscombe kicked towards half forward. Hilton and Bannister. Hilton almost. Bannister did very well. Just got a hand on the football and forces a boundary throw-in.
Just the way the Tigers have brought their ball, the ball out of their back half. Essendon's pressure down there really has been non-existent, and it's really causing a lot of pressure on the Essendon defensive half. The ball has continually been brought in there at a rapid pace.
Kane Johnson tries to strike a couple of tackles. Can't. Now a chance of McVeigh hard up against the line. Paddled it towards Barnard for the boundary throw-in. There's McVeigh. Close to three-quarter time. And the Bombers, they needed to get the first goal this third term. But it was the Tigers kicked the opening 3 goals. Really stamped their authority on this match. Alessio, McPhee, 2-on-1. Fiora wasn't paid. Welsh somehow got it to win the lick. Now Barnard, kick partially smothered. Running back, chance now for Kellaway. Look out, Lloyd comes at him hard. He gets a handball away. That was great pressure from Lloyd. Solomon, little kick around the body. Gasper did very well. Lloyd makes another contest. Knocks it out. The only player there is Rogers. Now a chance for Zantuck. Handball missed the mark in Fiora. Little tap back in by Welsh is deemed a throw and a free kick to the Tigers.
Well, that might have been their last chance for the quarter. Free kicks now reach 17-6. Which if you're losing is, I guess, some comfort. Sometimes you can blame somebody. They've got no one to blame it themselves. The Bombers as Newman blasts away for half forward. Good spoil on Stafford. One more chance for the Tigers. Kane Johnson's done just about all this afternoon. And he's also kicked it behind. He's had 21 disposals, Kane Johnson. 5 marks, 4 clearances, 2 tackles. Taken the ball inside 50 now 5 times. And had 3 rebound 50. So he's done it all except kick a goal.
Yeah, he has. He's had a sensational game. But once again, that ball's come out of the Tigers' defence. It really should have been held up in the Essendon forward half, and given the Essendon players a chance to regroup up in their forward 50.
Strangely enough, the Bombers one ahead in the inside 50s as the three-quarter time siren sounds. And what a quarter by the Tigers. They led by 20 points at halftime, but now lead by 41. 10-13 plays 4-8. And Steve, they've answered every challenge the Bombers have been able to throw at them.
Well, they have. They've won the third quarter 4-1, and Danny Frawley will be delighted with that. But I think the standout player was young Krakouer in that quarter. He kicked 3 goals for the Tigers and really did ignite them in that third term. And certainly it has set themselves up for a very good victory come this fourth quarter.
Well, we saw a shot of Danny Frawley there. I reckon he'll be very emotional. He'll be churning inside. He will be trying so hard not to show it right now. We know what sort of character he is. He'll be very proud of his team so far. 10-13-73 the Tigers. They're on their way to a win, you would think, unless the Bombers can produce a miracle. Essendon 4-8-32. Back in a moment.
Rambles at the half-forward, gives his forwards a chance. Krakouer on deft skill, snaps from 40, bouncing, goal, sensational stuff, Andy Krakouer.
Wasn't he sensational? 4 goals for the Tigers, and what a great quarter it was. They kicked 4 goals to 1. Krakouer's got 4, Biddiscombe 2, Mercuri and Solomon. The Bombers are flat as attack. And once again, that curse from Subiaco continues. All the teams that have been to Subiaco have lost the next week so far. Well, what's ahead in terms of the fresh legs? Let's check them out with both teams and start with the Bombers, boys.
Yes, when we look at the Bombers, Joe Masiti has spent limited time on the ground, just the 6 possessions this afternoon for Masiti, but Harvey, the only real running player of any note that could provide them any impetus in this final term.
What about the Tigers, Steve?
Well, young Schulz there's only played the 1 minute of football. I'm pretty sure that he'll get his opportunity come halfway through this last quarter. But they've got plenty of run with Rogers, Fleming, Fiora, and of course Nicholls there can all running tight plays.
Christi Malthouse on the boundary.
Well, you spoke about Danny Frawley wanting to win this game. Well, it was certainly evident during that break. He held the whole team in just a little bit longer than the Essendon squad, and you could certainly sense the enthusiasm from the entire team. They were huddled as close as I've ever seen them. Essendon is one team they definitely want to beat, and this is one game that they want to win.
Plenty of frustrated Bomber supporters and excited Tiger fans as this last quarter gets underway. Spiked out of the middle as you saw by Alessio, but Tivendale with a clearance. Good take from Bolton, sharing it with McPhee. Bombers want to strike early. Jacobs has been thrust forward and takes the mark. Lucas playing out of the goal square. Barnard stretches down to try and provide an option as well. All that in front, and instead he goes laterally to Alessio, who marks, well, not in a much better position really as far as scoring a goal is concerned. Maybe just within range here. Big Cess. We saw him miss one earlier in the game. In fact, he's kicked 2 behinds for the day. It's a wobbly kick. Jacobs with the fly. Solomon there as well. Pettiford conceding the behind. And the Bombers now 40 points adrift of the Tigers. 10-13 plays 4-9, and the Tigers quick to bring it back into play, and this man has just been wonderful today. That is touch number 22, Kane Johnson.
Kick out wide, Hilton in front of Bannister, good hands.
Been the story of the day. The Tigers been able to run the ball out of their 50.
The midfield have really been on top all afternoon. Biddiscombe has picked up a lot of the football in this second half. Possession number 12. He's kicked 2 goals. Coughlan, Johnson, Bowden, Tivendale all been prominent for the Tigers. Long towards half-forward. Stafford in front, stands his ground and beats Alessio hands down. Quick little give off. Well played, Cameron deep into the pocket and pitches just inside the line and over. So a boundary throw in. The Tigers deep in their attacking zone.
Is that Matthew Lloyd and Darren Gasper at full forward?
Yes, and full back respectively.
They've swapped roles at the wrong end of the ground.
Alessio trying to get boot the ball, as he's required to do. Big pack of players around the football as the champion Essendon full forward takes off to his rightful position. Goal here would just break Essendon's heart. Big task as it is. Alessio gets it out. Jason Johnson hard up against the line. A free kick coming, and it'll go to Andrew Krakouer. Well, he's certainly had some frees for. Let's try and that's 4 free kicks he's received. Andy Krakouer, all I would suggest inside attacking 50. He has kicked 4 goals, 1, and he's already heading our rankings at 3/4 time. So this would merely put some cream on the cake. Difficult angle. As you can see, he's outside the boundary line, deep in the forward pocket. Drop punt on its way. Oh, the goal umpire doesn't move. He's kicked 5. What a performance from Andrew Krakouer. 5 goals won, 2 marks, 13 disposals, and he has been the difference between the two sides.
Well, he has, and he's made the most of his opportunities, and really is. I think today he's become the senior player, kicking 5 goals against a very good team in Essendon, and we just see here, well, this is a super goal from that angle. Well done, Krakouer.
Andrew Krakouer has been the story of the day. 5 goals, and he's helped this Richmond side. They're going to get another free kick out of the middle. Mark Johnson fell into the back of Coughlan. Andrew Krakouer had a very disappointing year last year, had a fair few injuries, played 13 games, but just didn't get enough of the ball to hurt teams. But this year, particularly today, he's really come on in his 3 games. And the Tigers have been great. And they might get another chance here. Rory Hilton lines up. He joins the list. No, he doesn't. What a list of goal kickers it is. Krakouer with 5, Biddiscombe 2, Andrew Kellaway 1, Stafford 1, Vardy 1, and Nicholls 1.
Incredible.
Hardly household forward names.
Margin 47 points. Wellman kicks into Bolton, who's tried hard. Mark number 9 for Bolton. Coming up for possession, number 16. Just chips inside. Welsh squares the football up. Wellman, who's been called to play on. Cameron doesn't realise it yet. Wellman off a step. McPhee almost, not good enough. Johnson wasn't aware of the presence of Reynolds. Now a chance for the Bombers. Reynolds gets it from the centre of the ground, kick towards Lucas. At the back, a chance for Solomon. Chaffee knocks it through. Yes. Their defence has been absolutely fantastic, the Tigers, apart from 10 or 15 minutes towards the end of the second quarter, but they've been in control and only behind to the Bombers.
Steve, can you see any traces of Wayne Britton, who's joined Danny Frawley in the coaching panel?
Oh, no doubt. I think the attack that the Tigers have on the ball, the pressure around the stoppages, something that Wayne Britton really preached. He liked the hardness, and I think that there's no doubt with his efforts with Danny Frawley, it's an area that Essendon has, the Tigers have improved on this year.
It's been the Tiger unknowns this afternoon. A few of them have made their name this afternoon. Andrew Krakouer, the most prominent so far. On the bottom of that pack is another young man you're going to see a lot of in the future. There he is, number 24, Mark Coughlan. We've been raving about him this afternoon. But I think he was 3rd in the best and fairest for Richmond last year. And they needed some added hardness in the midfield. The recruiting of Kane Johnson and the addition of Coughlan has just been fantastic for them.
Well, Coughlan leading tackler for the Tigers with 34. So he's a hard...
34 tackles today.
No, we'll make that for the season.
Oh, sorry.
He hasn't quite been that good
I was going to say, that would have been impressive. Hurdy there with Barnesy watching on. Tigers get another possession. In fact, Kane Johnson gets another possession. Jason Johnson stalking it, but Tigers able to hold it in.
And that's been a real positive for the Tigers today, that they have held the ball inside their 50, and it really does put the pressure on defenders.
Alessio kicks it, but as you can see, Tivendale takes it. He looks ahead. Doesn't see a whole lot. Vardy's deep, so he goes very short. Not 15, said the umpire. Leon Cameron doesn't know that. He finds out quickly. Kicks poorly. Alessio should mark here. Under pressure, though. Well done from Vardy. Kept it alive. Tigers still swarming around, waiting for a chance to pounce. Hurried kick from Barnard. Richmond have the numbers again. Pettifer can take it away. Could have gone short to Johnson. He goes longer, hoping for a Tiger mark. He might get one here, Tivendale. And he's not without a chance from here. Most players you wouldn't give a chance. He might just set it up at the top of the square. We haven't seen too many players been able to negotiate this sort of distance to that end of the ground. Richmond cruising to victory here, 11-14. Essendon 4-10.
He's kicked it 8 times inside 50, Greg Tivendale today.
Well, there's another one. It goes inside 50 and beyond. Stafford couldn't take the mark. Bolton concedes the behind. 8 minutes gone in the last quarter, and it's all doom and gloom for the Bombers. But what a performance by the Tigers, without their captain Wayne Campbell, without Kellaway, without Ben Holland, without Richardson. And on the other side of the coin, the Bombers, of course, coming in without Rioli and Cupido, with James Hird getting injured, and that is the definition of gloom and doom. We saw Joe Mercuri there as well. I think he had a bit of a virus during the week, which wouldn't have helped.
Bombers try and work it out. They're making a meal of it. Wellman gets it away. Mark taken by McPhee, but they're still inside defensive 50. Kicks, dangerous one. Reynolds was equal to the task. It is marked at half back. Barnard. Thumping kick. Towards Lloyd and talking back. That's a courageous mark taken by Andy Kellaway. Just eyes for the football. Coughlan at half back. Switches play. Wobbly old kick was poor. Mark taken by Mark Johnson. Wants to get on with it quickly. Kicks inside attacking 50, and the mark taken by Jason Johnson. And a chance here for the Bombers to register their 5th goal. And on a day like this, Steve, that's not a great return.
Well, it hasn't been. That's really been the story of the day. They've struggled to find their targets up forward, and they've struggled to kick goals. Well,
Essendon's previous lowest score against Richmond was in 1965, round 15. They kicked 5 goals, 6-36 that day. They might break it here. No, they haven't yet.
Johnson kicks it across the face. In fact, he's kicked it out on the full. So it's still alive.
Yep, just going over that again. It was round 15, 1965 from memory. They kicked 5 goals, 6 that day.
And once again, the Tigers were able to find an easy target.
That was a sunny day as well from memory.
Chaffee kicks short. Kane Johnson. Possession number 24. For the former Crow. Kicks it to Hilton. Bannister just a couple of metres behind. Wasting no time. Kick beyond the wing. Going back with courage. That's a great mark taken by Coughlan. He's coming up for possession number 26. What a start he's been today. Mark Coughlan took 10 marks and had 21 possessions against the Power last week.
And the call's playing on Jason Johnson. They've gone head-to-head all day.
Kick high, inside attacking 50. Vardy going back has been useful. Krakouer was lurking. Ball didn't bounce for him that time. McVeigh kicks it out of the congestion. Lloyd a good mark. Now off to Jason Johnson. Chance here for the Bombers. Thumping kick inside attacking 50. One out Jacobs. Oh, great fist coming from Zantuck. Well played. Zantuck had a difficult job there because Jacobs had the sit. And he was just able to hold his ground and get a fist on it.
And he had to have enough on the spoil as well, which he did to be able to force it through for a behind.
Rogers takes it away for the Tigers. Then suddenly the sun in his eyes. Suddenly he was running out of options. Then Newman popped up. He said, hello, Newman, and finds him across defensive 50. Goes very short and finds Kellaway, Andrew Kellaway. 81 plays 35, halfway through the last quarter. Coughlan was in front. Jason Johnson somewhat fell into his back. He just dived on it there, and the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt because it was all locked in.
It reminds me a bit, Mark Coughlan, of Jason Johnson, that hard in and under player with good skills.
And there's Mark Mercuri and a rather forlorn David Hill, and we've got a blood rule here with Mark Coughlan. We saw last week, and Wayne Campbell made comment during the week, what an inspiration Mark Coughlan was. He got cleaned up last week, but he refused to go off the ground. He stayed out there. And you can see there, he just did not want to come off. Shook the head, said, I'm not going, but the umpire said, you've got to go. He's played only 28 games of AFL footy. And look at Danny. Have a look at the scoreboard, Danny. Someone tell him, will you? 11-15 the Tigers. 4-11 Essendon. Peveril. Solomon waited for the traffic to go past. From the back, Mark Johnson trying to create a contest. Newman, deft touch it was. Linking up again with Kane Johnson and Kellaway. And Bowden. Back to Kane Johnson. Cameron. Holds play up. Up to centre half forward. Bowden the target. He kept on running. Bowden takes it. Got Chaffee. He's going to just zoot past here. Chaffee away. Long bomb from Mark Chaffee is away to the left. 11-16, 82 now Richmond. And Essendon 4-11-35.
Just the one goal in this final term going the way of the Tigers. They've just won 4 of the last 23 against Essendon. A landmark win for Richmond. And coach Danny Frawley. Stafford marks the kick in, drills the pass into the pocket to Hilton. Well, that kick was perfect. He was in amongst 3 bombers and he hit the ground pretty hard trying to milk 50 metres Rory Hilton, but umpire was right on the scene and certainly no benefit of any penalty against Steve Alessio. Hilton a chance here. He's kicked just the 3 goals in season 2003. Comes in and just misses. So they've been a little wasteful, the Tigers, in this final term. But Steve, it really has been a great win because the Bombers came at them late in that second term, but they've just been sensational in this second half.
Well, they have, the Tigers. I guess, you know, I think this is a huge day for the Richmond Footy Club.
Oh, look at this, almost another turnover. Welsh had to work very hard to keep it alive for the Bombers. Wellman spots Peverill running through centre-half back. Got a few breaking this side of the ground. Uses Welsh again on the way out. Reynolds will be the target here. He's got to contend with 2 Tigers. One of them over the top gets who? Newman, who gets it towards the boundary line. Jason Johnson gets crunched, and he wants to go on with it. Oh, and he just gave a little left uppercut. Just friendly fire from Jason Johnson. The crowd figure's gone up. It's 52,000. Nothing Jason Johnson wouldn't have done himself there, I don't think. Up to half forward. Barnard. That was not paid as a mark. Pretty much controlled it appeared. Anyway, Tigers now controlling it, that's for sure. Tivendale, they're running in numbers. Kane Johnson will want to get this one. Here he goes again. Up to centre half forward. Good spoil from behind, that time from Wellman. Gasper dispossessed. Accosted. No free kick. Tivendale takes it. Goes for Hilton again. And the ball over the line and out of bounds. Last quarter hasn't been exactly inspiring football. 1 goal for Richmond, 3 behinds for Essendon. But the Tiger fans, they couldn't care less. Look at the scoreboard, they're saying.
Well, they haven't had a great history against the Bombers over the last 10 years, and they'd just be delighted to walk away with this win today.
Jason Johnson, now a chance for Lucas. The southern wing, chips back inside. Harvey. Run again provided by Jason Johnson. Hasn't stopped trying. Kick inside, attacking 50. Barnard going back. Couldn't control it. Now Chaffee, who just works it to the line. The boundary thrown. The boundary umpire being caught 100 metres behind with that quick transference of play. But spare a thought for Matthew Lloyd. He's tried valiantly for his side in game number 150. 6 marks. 8 possessions, just the 1 goal, and really been starved of opportunities in the forward 50. Now a chance for Lucas deep in the pocket, can't pick it up. Stafford gets to him. Now Lloyd, is he pushed out? No. Kellaway. Zantuck. Oh, collision between the 2 Tiger defenders, and they've been pinged.
Got in the back.
No, in the back, I'm sorry.
Barnard, I think he just saw a chance to go in and get the foot in. He just got a little bit overexcited and jumped on top.
Chaffee and Coughlan were the 2. And I don't think, although it could have been a disaster, I don't think Danny Frawley would be too upset because it's how they've approached this game all afternoon. The Tigers, they've been tough at it.
And here they go again. Stafford, he was going to loop the handball over the top. Instead, he kicks for a couple of one-on-ones on the wing. Wellman, he has probably been their best defender. Linking up with Reynolds, who's running with Kane Johnson at the moment. That's a task for a young man. Lloyd goes down, wanted a free, didn't get it. Mercuri inserted back into the game. Like in slow motion. Handballs to Solomon, who strides through centre-half forward. And with a mongrel punt, he gets it behind. Touched right on the last line.
We spoke a moment ago about Matthew Lloyd, but the job that Darren Gasper has done on Lloyd has been outstanding.
That equals the mark, Michael, from 1965. I know you'd forgotten and you were concerned. but that is their equal lowest score against Richmond.
And what were the conditions that day again?
I think they were fine. There was just a touch of rain about.
Stafford has it at half-back. Just chips out wide. Mark taken by Vardy. And he has been very useful today. Kicked an early goal and has been able to relieve Stafford in the ruck, just to allow Stafford to go up forward. And for moments in that first quarter, he looked very dangerous, Greg Stafford up forward. So he's done a good job, Vardy, with Ray Hall, a late withdrawal from this side this afternoon. Tivendale just chipping around now, the Tigers. Pettifer's been great across half-back. Tivendale again. Loose player out wide. Fiora hasn't seen a lot of game time. Aaron Fiora chips short. Cameron just to 15 metres. A lot of the sting out of this game now. Tigers looking to work it forward. Can Andrew Krakouer kick a 6th goal? He's kicked 5 in a dynamic display up forward. Cameron kicks into the pocket on the lead. Hilton can't control it in the air. Ground level. McPhee is wrapped up, so a bounce inside the Richmond attacking 50.
Just getting back to that all-important stat from 1965. You know who won the flag in 1965? Essendon. So maybe they should just look for an omen. That's the last time they scored a goal, 26 minutes ago. They've only managed 4 for the day, so I guess that's hardly surprising, is it? But it's been a while since their last one.
Well, they've only kicked 1 after half-time.
Well, they didn't kick any in the first quarter.
They kicked 3 in the second quarter.
5 minutes to go.
The bounce.
The Essendon supporters, and I'm sure the Essendon coaching box, who've been thinking the siren couldn't come quick enough. It is an inexperienced Essendon side out there. There's a lot of young players, but there's a lot of young Richmond players and inexperienced Tigers as well. McVeigh, some sort of kick hacked out of that pack. Charging through. Leon Cameron, something of a general down in attack for the Tigers. Ball up.
Steve, might be a good time to get Jay Schulz on the ground. He's just had the... We've got him down for game time of a minute. I think it was about 33 seconds because it was right on half-time. A good opportunity to get him on for a bit of a run.
You'd think that Danny would put him on now.
Come on, Danny. The crowd's cheering. They want Schultzy. I'm sure that's what they're cheering. He's on the bench. He's on the phone. He says, get on the phone. And
he's still barking the instructions, isn't he?
Let him know to get Schultzy on the ground. There's Chaffee, who's getting some attention from the physio. He's been great today, particularly early. He's ended up with 18 possessions. Coughlan and Kane Johnson, the highest possession winners, with 27. As Alessio gets it down. Jason Johnson gets the handball away. It was ineffective. Fiora, little kick around the body. Kane Johnson, can he win it? Was that a free kick? No, it wasn't. Ball up. And Danny, almost a hint of a smile, then not quite. Still no sign that Jay Schulz is going to come onto the ground.
He's almost on the ground.
He's half on the ground.
He is. He's standing right, or crouching right on the boundary line at the interchange area.
A crouching tiger. We are struggling. Jason Johnson.
Speak for yourself.
And Kane Johnson got the handball out that time to Bowden. Crack at the number 6. He misses. And he's coming on. Schulz is coming on. Here he is. Big moment for young Jay Schulz. We wish him all the best. We know he's on for a minute, but let's see if he can get a possession. The young man drafted number 12 overall last year. He was the Tigers' first pick. Kick in is wide, and Mark Johnson takes the mark.
Johnson plays on, looking for a target. Harvey moves for him, and he marks strongly in front of Pettifer. Gets on with it quickly. Welsh has run from half-back. Southern wing. All to no avail, though. The Bombers have been well and truly beaten this afternoon. McVeigh from the wing towards Bolton. At the back, Solomon almost. In fact, he's been paid, Solomon. It did spill from his grasp as he fell to the ground, but the mark is being paid. As the Essendon coaching box looks on. Kick towards full forward. Reynolds got hands to it. Couldn't complete the mark. Hilton's wrapped up and will get a bounce. Umpire Rowe calling for it. Ball inside, attacking 50 for the Bombers. And they've only just been shaded for inside 50. Richmond 48, Essendon 45.
They've struggled to find the target up there.
They certainly have. Hill down to McPhee, trying to get clear. Solomon, snap from 45. Lloyd and Gasper, one out. Great fist from Gasper. Oh, Mark Johnson a chance. Went right through his hands. Now Mercuri got boot the ball. Mark Johnson up high. Well played. Pettifer got his body in. Boundary throw in. Nothing Essendon have tried has come off. And the Richmond defence has been absolutely superb. Stafford runs through Mark Johnson before getting the handball to Bowden, who dribbles cleverly around the boundary line, and another boundary thrown 50 metres around from the Bomber goal.
Just been watching Darren Gasper on Matthew Lloyd. He's done the job on Matthew Lloyd, but as a defender, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, he's always a worry, knowing that he could get that easy goal. The sting goes out of the game, and he can get a couple of soft kicks and kick a couple of goals, which really tarnishes your job.
You can hear the roar going up around the ground, the Tigers. Coughlan releasing handball. This is Essendon's lowest score since round 4, 1999, against West Coast at Subiaco. Lucas through the middle. Bombers looking for a consolation goal. Here's a chance for Lloyd. Shoved the rest out of the road, but couldn't take it. Kane Johnson tried to get a kick out, didn't really. Pettifer dispossessed. Here's Hill. Big Hill weaved his way through. High kick. Oh, Johnson! Mark Johnson takes one of the marks of the year so far from absolutely nowhere. And he should ensure that Essendon don't have their lowest score against Richmond ever. He puts it through for a goal. A mark like that deserved a goal, and that highlight came from nowhere.
Well, they've waited all day for a bit of spark, the Bombers, but this was a sensational mark. The kick high to the goal square by Hill, and let's just watch Mark Johnson in action.
He almost changed horses, didn't he? Because he started off on Newman and ended up with Reynolds.
Trust you to come up with that.
A spectacular mark by Mark Johnson as we look at it. Newman and then on the back of Reynolds. And that is one of the marks of the year. He almost changed horses there, Huddo. On the back of Newman and then on the back of Reynolds. Goal to the Bombers, a belated one. Jason Johnson fighting hard in the centre. Ball spills out. Cameron, slick little hands. Kane Johnson, back to Cameron. Play on's the call. Good tackle coming from Bolton. It's a final siren sound, and this is a defining moment in Richmond's year. They've only won 4 of the last 23 against the Bombers, but today they were able to answer the challenges and run out convincing winners by 42 points, and in fact, in the end, doubling Essendon's score.
Well, they've just lost Joel Bowden there at the end. He's copped the big one on the wing, which will just take the sting a little bit out of the victory if he is hurt. But what a performance by the Tigers. Right from the start, they kicked 4 goals to nil in the opening quarter. Let's hope Joel's all right. He looks okay. Then Essendon made some sort of challenge with the Tigers in the third quarter, 4 goals to 1. The last quarter didn't matter in the end, and there's plenty of yellow and black being sung around this ground.
Yes, well, we've seen Kevin Schutte on screen there. He's got a bit to think about throughout the week, but really a sensational effort by the Tigers. I think they've come of age today, certainly with the quality of plays they've had out throughout this game here, and to win in convincing manner like today. Well, I think they're a real threat for the finals.
Here's Christi with Mark Coughlan, who had 29 possessions today.
Oh, Mark, congratulations, great win. You don't like coming off the ground, do you? You've had to have stitches in your lip, but you still like to be talked into coming off.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened there. It came off the square and someone cleaned me up a good one. So, yeah, no one likes being benched, I guess.
Essendon highlighted you before the game as being one of the players to stop. Did you have to prepare any differently, knowing you were going to come under such close attention?
Yeah, I heard that they might be giving me a bit of attention, but it was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I tried to go to Jason Johnson early, and in the second half he came to me, and it was a pretty good battle all day. I think he played well.
The whole club has set themselves to being more consistent this season, but is that a personal goal of yours as well? It seems to be that way.
Yeah, look, we just kept playing week in, week out. You know, you hear it all the time, but we're 5-2 now. No one gave us a chance today, and it was really good to come up with a win.
What was said at three-quarter time? Because this was certainly one game we did want to win, wasn't it?
It certainly was. They came off a pretty hard week last week, coming back from Perth's pretty tough trip, and only 6 days break. We knew we'd might have had it over him in the legs in the second half, so it was good.
Well done. Thanks.
Well, the famous song, The Yellow and Black, the Tiger fans and players are listening to it. Won't be the last time you hear Yellow and Black chanted around Melbourne and probably around the country tonight. A famous win for the Tigers. 11 goals, 18-84. Greg Stafford wonderful in the ruck, defeating Essendon 5-12-42. And plenty of worries for the Bombers, who lost their captain James Hird today with a calf injury. The Tiger faithful, they're yelling and screaming at the punt road end. We saw James Hird limping off on crutches. But the Tigers will get a massive reception as they come down to the punt road end and go down their race. And there's nothing quite as rabid as a Tiger fan. Whether it's been a big loss or a big win, they certainly, their players know all about it. And there'll be mass celebrations tonight. And there's Bill Nicholls, who played his first game today for the Tigers, along with Jay Schulz. And they're leading them off the ground. Andrew Krakouer was great with 6 goals. Danny Frawley is letting a few emotions out now. Kicked 5, in fact. Andrew Krakouer missed the last one. I bet he doesn't care. The Tigers have had a famous 42-point win.
Tremendous!